Chapter 11. The Earth Spirit Protects the Dharma. Commentary. The Earth Spirit that is referred to in this chapter is called firm and stable. What is firm? The Earth is firm. What is solid? The Earth is solid. Now we are standing on Earth like ants on a great boat. The numberless ants would not make the boat rock back and forth because they do not have enough strength to do so. Earth is hanging in space. The atmosphere and air are holding it in place, so it will not break. It is like a great boat in the ocean. There are a great number of earth spirits. When Shakyamuni Buddha was speaking the Shuragama Sutra, the earth spirit, firm and stable, appeared to listen to the Dharma. But this earth spirit was very arrogant and haughty. He said, "In the whole universe, I'm the only earth spirit, and there are no other spirits." But Shakyamuni Buddha replied, "You are not the only earth spirit. There are also water spirits, fire spirits, and wind spirits." This earth spirit was not pleased to hear the Buddha's answer and said in an arrogant tone, "How come there are other spirits? Everything is supported by earth. They have no right to be called spirits." Shakyamuni Buddha then talked about water spirits, fire spirits, and wind spirits. Using various means, the Buddha finally persuaded the earth spirit. He took refuge with the triple jewels and lost his haughtiness. In space, there are four elemental spirits: the earth spirits, the water spirits, the fire spirits, and the wind spirits. Humans are composed of the four elements. Each of these four spirits gives every individual a little bit of water, fire, wind, and earth, forming a body. The word earth has two meanings. First, in terms of phenomenon, earth is the start of everything. It gives birth to all things and supports them. In terms of nomenon, earth has four virtues: permanence, happiness, purity, and true self. What is permanence? Systems are the door of earth, which never changes. Permanence, therefore, is a virtuous quality of earth. Earth supports all things. Everything exists by the power of earth. Happiness, therefore, is a virtuous quality of earth. Earth can give life to all things. Things growing out of the earth are pure and untainted, the virtue of purity. The earth is at ease, which is a various quality of the true self. The earth spirits enjoy these four virtues. The second meaning is in terms of nomenon. When the Buddha was speaking the 11th chapter of the Earth Store Sutra, the earth spirit vowed to protect everyone who recites the Earth Store Bodhisattva's name, who recites the Earth Store Sutra, and who enjoys good rules. This is why this chapter is called the Dharma protection of the earth spirits. Today is a very special day, graduation day for the summer session. Time flies by so quickly in the blink of an eye. 6 weeks have gone. It is impossible to turn back time and repeat these 6 weeks. We will have to wait until next year for another summer. Although the time remains the same, it will be a different year. We will be 1 year older and yet 1 year closer to death. The numbers exist, but there seems to be minimal difference between time experienced versus time to come. As our age increases by 1 year, our remaining years of life increases by 1 year. For instance, 40-year-old is meant to live until 80. So at the age of 39, he has 41 years left to live. 1 year passes. At the age of 40, he only has 40 years left to live. This is a half and half. Is time not meaningless when pondered in this manner? Although some of your time spent this year was very meaningful and worthwhile, why you have deposited Buddhist teachings into your brain, planting them into your field of eighth consciousness. Your body sees planted and body sprouts develop, prepare body fruits in the future, realizing Buddhahood. At the same time, I need to tell you something peculiar will happen. Let us take your parents, for example. They do not bother you at all when you learn to be degenerate. They figure they will let you go free. They treat you fine. However, when you want to be good and to study Buddhism, their temper seeps out, criticizing everything about you. They ignore your taking drugs, drinking alcohol, and smoking cigarettes, figuring that you will get over it. Now that you are over it, they are upset. They say, you want to be good, then you must be filial to your parents. Let me scold you, hit you, or treat you poorly now. Are troubles headed your way? Actually, this is a test to see whether you really want to be good. If so, the more they criticize you or hit you, the more pleased you would be. Just remember not to cry. Seeing how happy you are, the temper will disappear. Otherwise, you will be in big trouble. Treat everything as a test on whether you know how to apply the Buddha Dharma you learned, whether you are patient, keep the precepts, give, are diligent, meditate, and are wise. If you pass these tests, you will earn boundless benefits. If you fail, you will have to start over. These 6 weeks are gold. Keep it now that you have it. Do not lose it. You will be different from others. How? I don't mean for you to be arrogant, thinking I'm a Buddha, I want others to bow to me. Don't put on airs. Be compassionate and patient toward everyone. Be better to someone who is not nice to you, regardless of whether someone is nice to you. Watch your own faults and not the faults of others. Mahasabhas do not care about others. Amitabha takes care of himself. You take care of yourself? Okay. Today concludes the 6-week summer session, but not the sutra lectures. I do not know when I will finish the lecture series. It will be done when I stop breathing. Every day that I breath is every day that I propagate the Dharma. The Dharma propagation resumes every evening. We resume to lecturing on the Earth Sutra at 12:30 on Saturdays in Jewel Shilin, the Great Compassion Dharani from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. and the Earth Sutra in the evenings. I will be explaining the Earth Sutra tonight. I used to lecture on the Dharma Flower Sutra on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings. However, since I have 3 chapters, including this chapter on the Earth Sutra left, I would like to finish it before the Shramanera and the Shramanarika go to Taiwan to request the precepts. Since I would not be able to finish the Dharma Flower Sutra before then, I will rush through the Earth Sutra before I get to the Dharma Flower Sutra next. It's not time for the Avatamsaka Sutra yet. We will need to wait on that. Thursday evenings, so, and others may lecture. In general, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings are times for you to practice lecturing on sutras and share part of my load. Don't make me do so much work, wearing me out and turning my hair gray. My hair became black not too long ago. I don't want it to gray again. So let's resume our former evening lecture schedule. Sutra. At that time, the Earth Spirit, firm and stable, addressed the Buddha thus: World Honored One, since long ago I have personally beheld and bowed to limitless numbers of Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas. All of them have inconceivably great spiritual penetrations and wisdom that they use in taking across vast numbers of beings. Among all the Bodhisattvas, first Bodhisattva Mahasatva has made the deepest and weightiest vows. World Honored One, first Bodhisattva has great affinities with the beings in Jambudvipa. Mantra 3, Universal Worthy, Samantabhadra, contemplator of the world's souls, Avalokiteshvara Kuan Yin, and Maitreya also manifest hundreds of thousands of transformation bodies to rescue those in the six paths, but their vows will ultimately be fulfilled. Bodhisattva keeps renewing his vows to teach and transform beings in the six paths throughout aeon, as numerous as the number of sand grains in thousands of billions of Ganges rivers. Commentary. At that time, the earth spirit firm and stable, the Dharma guardian of this chapter, vowed to protect the Dharma. He addressed the Buddha thus, World Honored One, since long ago, from limitless eons ago until now, I have personally beheld, without removing my gaze, and bowed to limitless numbers of Bodhisattva Mahasattvas. I saw a great number of Bodhisattvas before, and I bowed to a large number of Bodhisattvas. Mahasattvas are all great Bodhisattvas. All of them have inconceivably great spiritual penetrations and wisdom. These great Bodhisattvas all have a great wisdom. One must have great wisdom to cultivate the great vehicle. What is the great vehicle? It is an inconceivable state. Their spiritual penetrations and wisdom limitless. The unfathomable powers that they use in taking across vast numbers of beings, they deliver all beings to perfection. Among all the Bodhisattvas, Bodhisattva Mahasatva, all these great Bodhisattvas deliver all beings to the shore of perfection. One among all Bodhisattvas is Bodhisattva. Among all the great Bodhisattvas, he has made the deepest and weightiest vows. He said, unless the hells are emptied, I will not become a Buddha. Until all beings are saved, I will not realize Bodhi. The power of this vow is particularly profound and substantial. World Honored One, Bodhisattva has great affinities with beings in Jambudvipa. Mantra 3, Universal Worthy, Samantabhadra Bodhisattvas, contemplator of the world's souls, Avalokiteshvara Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and Maitreya Bodhisattva also manifest hundreds of thousands of transformation bodies to rescue those in the six paths. They vowed to deliver every being of the six paths to Buddhahood, but their vows will ultimately be fulfilled. Although the power of their vows is tremendous, it will be depleted one day, the day when their vows are realized. Bodhisattva keeps renewing his vows to teach and transform beings in the six paths. He vowed to teach the beings in the six paths, heavenly beings, human asuras, beings in the hells, hungry ghosts, and animals, throughout eons, as numerous as the number of sand grains in thousands of millions of Ganges rivers. The vows he made and the ends he lived are as numerous as the number of sand grains in trillions of Ganges rivers. Sutra. World Honored One, as I regard beings of the present and future, I see those who make shrines of clay, stone, bamboo, or wood and set them on pure ground in the southern part of their dwellings. They place within the shrines images of a Bodhisattva, either sculpted or painted or made of gold, silver, copper, or iron. Then they burn incense, make offerings, behold, worship, and praise him. By doing those things, such people will receive 10 kinds of benefits for their dwellings. What are those 10? First, their lands will be fertile. Second, their families and homes will always be peaceful. Third, their ancestors will be born in the heavens. Fourth, those of the current generation will enjoy benefits and long lives. Fifth, they will easily obtain what they want. Sixth, they will not encounter disasters of water and fire. Seventh, they will avoid unforeseen calamities. Eighth, they will never have nightmares. Ninth, they will be protected by spirits in their daily comings and goings. Tenth, they will create many causes that lead to sagehood. Commentary. The earth spirit, firm and stable, said, World Honored One, as I regard beings of the present and future, I see all beings in the present and in the future. I see those who make shrines of clay, stone, bamboo, or wood and set them on pure ground in the southern part of their dwellings. They place within the shrines images of a Bodhisattva, either sculpted or painted or made of gold, silver, copper, or iron. Then they burn incense, make offerings, behold, worship, and praise him. Come and gaze in adoration. For instance, Bodhisattva, when a man likes a woman, he will look and look and look again. Or when a woman likes a man, she will look and look again. This kind of looking is impure, consisting of lust. Transform thoughts of lust into wisdom. Gaze admiringly at Earth's Bodhisattva with the purity of wisdom. This is the way of look. Do not look the way men and women in love look. Gazing in admiration is a pure and natural force. We say, oh, the power of Earth's Bodhisattva's vows are huge. We should all believe in Earth's Bodhisattva. Okay, let's all recite Earth's Sutra and bow to him. So let me send an Earth's Bodhisattva home with you so that you may look and look until you become Buddhas, become Earth's Bodhisattva. By doing those things, such people will receive 10 kinds of benefits for their dwellings. What are those 10? First, their lands will be fertile. 1. The excellent soil is rich and fertile. Anything planted in this piece of land will grow and be big. Land in Alaska is like this, growing extremely long cucumbers that is fertile. Second, their families and homes will always be peaceful. Besides owning bountiful lands, they enjoy peace in their residence. What good is a fertile land if the dwelling place is not peaceful? For these people, homes built on these lands never have to worry about earthquakes. So-and-so said, if I were going to Minnesota, she will come with me. How come she does not bother to ask her husband for his preference? She said, if I leave San Francisco, earthquakes might occur, so she wants to follow me to Minnesota. This benefit refers to everlasting peace in these individuals' families and homes. Third, their ancestors will be born in the heavens. This means our deceased parents, perhaps as far back as those in 7 of our lifetimes, will become reborn in the heavens. How come they will reborn in the heavens? It is due to your worshipping, gazing at, bowing, and believing in Earth's Bodhisattva. Consequently, our families and homes are forever peaceful. Our lands are fertile, and our ancestors become reborn in the heavens. Fourth, those of the current generation will enjoy benefits and long lives. Some may doubt this. I will not necessarily see the deceased become reborn in the heavens. This may just be your claim. Do you want to see it? Cultivate. When you acquire the heavenly eye, you will be able to see. Now, let us not talk about what you cannot see. Now, let us talk about what you can see. Your parents were meant to live until 50 but are now 80 years old. Or if they were meant to live until 80 but are now 100, their lives are extended. I will tell you a true story. Fortune tellers told a laywoman's father that he will definitely die by the age of 79. He was afraid and came to take refuge. He took refuge with certain conditions. He wanted me to make him live another 10 years. I said, fine, 10 years, no problem. I made him that promise so that he lived until the age of 91. Another 12 years, I told him then, I guarantee that you will live 12 more years if you listen to me and conduct yourself according to the teachings. Who knows whether what I said was true or not, but he did not die at the age of 79. He lived for another 12 years and died at the age of 91. His wife and 2 daughters also became Buddhists. Everybody knows this story, but there is just a bit of uncertainty. Is this real? Fifth, they will easily obtain what they want. Those in the present may enjoy benefits and longer lives, but that is other people. I do not gain anything by it. Now, here is something that is good for you. Your wishes to come true. Your wishes come true. For example, one thing that most people think is the most critical may be a man or a woman's hope for a good spouse. He or she will get their wish. This is an issue for lay people. What about monastics? They will be good monks and nuns getting their wish. If you say, I'm not interested in any of these, find something that interests you and the related wishes will come true. Sixth, they will not encounter disasters of water and fire. They will neither be drowned nor burned. They will not encounter any blood or fire. Out of the 4 great spirits in the sky that I mentioned earlier, I forgot to explain too. What does the spirit of fire look like? Like a red sparrow with only 1 leg, making it different than others. Although he has a name, he will not come close when he is cold. He will run away instead. Unlike us people, we come running over when our names are called. So what is his name? His name is Fa Mian. When you say Fa Mian, he runs away. When you do not call on him, he will stay around and never leave. This is how strange this spirit of fire is. Let me explain the spirit of earth next. The earth spirit, like a child, looks like a child with red eyes and long ears that drag on the ground. Have you ever seen a child like this? He is the spirit of earth. He also has a name. He is called Wang Xia. It is difficult to encounter the spirit of earth. When you do so, catch him, cook him, and eat him. Then become the next spirit of earth. I'm not kidding you. All this is true. 7th, we will avoid unforeseen. They will avoid unforeseen calamities. There are no unforeseen calamities of various kinds. Calamities come as a surprise and are unusual. Here, all kinds of disasters, things that you cannot imagine, disappear. 8th, they will never have nightmares. People often have nightmares about being hit, killed, eaten by a tiger, or taken to see King Yama by the ghost of impermanence. For instance, someone sleeping saw a Kumbhanda ghost sit on top of him. He could not talk, make any sound, or move his body. He was stuck there. Make offerings to Earth's Bodhisattva, or recite Earth's Bodhisattva's name, and nightmares will not occur anymore. Neither they will be protected by spirits in their daily coming and goings. For instance, you were hit by a car that threw you more than 10 yards away, but you walk away unscathed. You should have broken bones and all, but you get up and walk away from the scene. You do not even need to go to the hospital. Why? It is because spirits are protecting you as you go in and out. 10th, they will create many causes that lead to sagehood. What are these causes that lead us to sagehood? Our summer session, for example, is a cause of sagehood. These 6 weeks, we focus on lecturing sutras and speaking Dharma. We work hard at cultivation. It is impossible to find around the globe another summer session is difficult as this one. If you do not want to work yourself that hard, you will not encounter a cause that leads to sagehood. So this is suffering for you right now. It is a cause for sagehood. Sutra. World Honored One. Beings of the present and future who make offerings in their homes in the prescribed manner will attain benefits like those. He further said to the Buddha, World Honored One, good men or women in the future may keep this sutra and an image of the Bodhisattva where they live. Furthermore, they may recite the sutra and make offerings to the Bodhisattva. I shall constantly use my own spiritual powers day and night to guard and protect those who do that from disasters, including floods, fire, robbery and theft, major calamities and minor accidents. All evil deeds shall disappear. Commentary. A spirit firm and stable called out, World Honored One, beings of the present and future who make offerings in their homes in the prescribed manner, offering up an image of a star Bodhisattva at a clean spot in the southern parts of their homes. They will attain benefits like those 10 said earlier. He further said to the Buddha, a spirit firm and stable told the Buddha again, World Honored One, good men or women in the future may keep this sutra, the Astor Sutra, and an image of the Astor Bodhisattva where they live. Furthermore, they may recite the sutra and bow and make offerings to the Bodhisattva. I shall constantly use my own spiritual powers day and night to guard and protect those who do that from disasters, including floods, fire, robbery and theft, major calamities and minor accidents. We talked about a car crash earlier today. A major calamity refers to death in that accident. A minor accident refers to getting a little scrape from a crash. All evil deeds shall disappear completely. The times are bad right now. Everywhere you go, lots of problems occur, be it theft or robbery, even robbery in broad daylight. Be careful with thieves. In China, there is a saying, hide the treasures too slowly creates thefts. Make yourself too beautiful creates lust. Hide your treasures, because if you were to hide even just a bit too slow, bandits will be greedy at the sight of them and come rob you. Why would they rob you? It is because you hide your gems too slowly, hence inviting robbers to mock you. This is how it goes with our treasures outside. The same goes with our treasure inside. Hide the treasures in our inherent nature. Do it too slowly, then monsters, demons and ghosts will come and rob you. Rob you of what? Rob you of your most precious treasures. But how can we hide the treasures of our inherent nature? The way to hide is different than hiding some tangible valuables, such as a secret spot or a safe. How do we hide the treasures of our inherent nature? Avoid ignorance. Know that your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind are all major thieves. Don't think your eyes help you. The reason that you are not a Buddha right now is because your eyes. Not only are your eyes thieves, your ears, nose, tongue, and mind are also thieves. Your spiritual nature is the most valuable treasure. When your eyes take a beat, you have less of it. When your ears take a beat, you have even less of it. When your nose takes a bit more, you have even less of it. When your tongue takes a beat, you have even less of it. When your body takes a beat, you have even less of it. When your thoughts take a beat, you have even less of it. Unable to pull in our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, we indulge them as they roam about, bothering with others' business. The eyes want to see everything a bit more clearly, that is, to bother with other people's business. The ears are affected by when they want to hear some unlicensed chatter again. They act like thieves in this way. So do not let the six thieves rob you in your nature's treasures. If you obey the sixth sense, then the robbers of your inherent nature are stealing from you. You may not necessarily understand this idea that I am now telling you. When you cultivate for a while, you will know. You will realize how awful your eyes are, how disobedient your ears are. You will know that they are bandits, they are thieves. Make yourself too beautiful creates lust. Women making themselves up and dressing themselves beautifully creates lust in people. It would be best if women do not make themselves up and just be natural. It is completely meaningless to make your lips all red, leaving bees mixed up in this fashion. The six senses are said to be thieves because we do not know how to use them. If you know how to use them, they are not thieves, but are Dharma protectors. That is why the Shuragama Sutra says that the six senses are the cause for transmigration in the six realms. However, if you can reflect and purify your mind, then you can realize Buddhahood because of these six senses too. It is not because there are other people helping you. They are Dharma protectors if you know how to employ them. They are thieves if you do not know how to employ them. For example, you remain mindful as you look, then your eyes are Dharma protectors. In contrast, you develop evil thoughts as you look, and your eyes are devils. This illustrates what great Master Six Patriarch said. The devil is in the house when evil thoughts occur. The Buddha is in the hall when proper thoughts occur. Being mindful all the time makes your six senses your Dharma protectors. They help you. However, were the eyes to trace after forms that they see, were the ears to trace after sounds that they hear, were the nose trace after scents that it smells, were the tongue to trace after flavors that it tastes, were the body to trace after tactile sensations that it comes in contact with, then you have run away with your desire based on preference and wanting. Were the mind encounter Dharma and trace after the objects of Dharma, then you have no ability to concentrate and are affected by external states. Instead of proper mindfulness, the thoughts are deviant. Hence, you are affected by states. Conversely, if you maintain proper mindfulness, then you can influence states. Sutra. The Buddha told the earth spirit firm and stable. There are few spirits who can match your great spiritual power. Why do I say that? All the lands in Jambudvipa receive your protection. All the grasses, woods, sands, stones, barley fields, hemp, bamboo, reeds, grains, rice, and gems come forth from the earth because of your power. Moreover, your constant praising of the beneficial deeds of erstwhile Bodhisattva makes your meritorious virtual and spiritual penetrations hundreds of thousands of times greater than those of ordinary earth spirits. If a good man or women in the future make offerings to this Bodhisattva, or recite the Sutra of the past vows of a star Bodhisattva, and rely upon even the single aspect of it in their cultivation, you should use your own spiritual powers to protect them. Do not allow any disasters or unwelcome events even to be heard, much less undergone by them. Not only will those people be protected by you, but they will also be protected by the followers of Shakra, Brahma, and other gods. Why will they receive protection from sages and worthies such as those? It will be due to their having beheld and worshipped an image of a star Bodhisattva, and from having recited the sutra of his past vows. Such people will quite naturally be able to leave the sea of suffering and will ultimately be certified to the bliss of nirvana. For those reasons, they will receive great protection. Commentary. The Buddha told the earth spirit firm and stable. There are few spirits who can match your great spiritual power. Why do I say that? All the lands in Jambudvipa receive your protection. All the grasses, including the tiniest blade and grass, smallest pieces of wood, one grain of sand, or one piece of stone, paddy fields, hemp, bamboo, reeds, grains, rice, and gems come forth from the earth because of your power. Moreover, your constant praising of the beneficial deeds of a star Bodhisattva, you always praise a star Bodhisattva for his helping people and all beings. This makes your meritorious virtue and spiritual penetrations hundreds of thousands of times greater than those of ordinary earth spirits. If a good man or women who have taken the 5 precepts and the 10 good deeds in the future make offerings to this Bodhisattva, or recite the Sutra of the past vows of a star Bodhisattva, and rely upon even a single aspect of it in their cultivation. Cultivate one thing in the Sutra accordingly. You should use your own spiritual powers to protect them. Do not allow any disasters or unwelcoming events even to be heard. Do not let them hear any sounds coming from unpleasantries and catastrophes, much less undergone by them. If they do not even hear displeasing sounds, how could they come face to face with the adversity? It would be impossible. Not only will those people be protected by you, let me tell you, you are not the only spirit who protects those people, but they will also be protected by the followers of Shakra, Brahma, and other gods. Why will they receive protection from so many sages and worthies, such as those members of the Eightfold Pantheon? It will be due to their having beheld and worshipped an image of a star Bodhisattva, and from having recited the sutra of his past vows. Such people will quite naturally be able to leave the sea of suffering and will ultimately be certified to the bliss of nirvana. For those reasons, they will receive great protection from all the sages. Benefits derived from seeing and hearing. Chapter 12. Commentary. Benefits are derived from seeing and hearing. Benefits from seeing what? Benefits from hearing what? There are benefits from seeing an image of a star Bodhisattva or the fundamental vows of a star Bodhisattva Sutra. Even if we do not see this, but just hear the name of star Bodhisattva or fundamental vows of a star Bodhisattva Sutra, there are benefits. This is the 12th chapter, Sutra. At that time, the world-honored one emitted millions and billions of great rays of light from the crown of his head. Commentary. At that time refers to the time when a spirit firm and solid and Shakyamuni Buddha were talking. Shakyamuni Buddha told a spirit firm and solid to support all future beings. At that time, World-honored one, Shakyamuni Buddha emitted millions of billions of great rays of light from the crown of his head. The top of Shakyamuni Buddha's head cannot be seen. Every one of us has a gate at the top of our head. People with a certain level of skill will have their Buddha nature leave from the top of their heads when they enter Nirvana. When that occurs, they may go anywhere. However, you must cultivate hard so that you can do this well. If done poorly, then you cannot do it. Billions and billions of lights the size of hairs are released from the crown of Shakyamuni Buddha's head. These billions and billions of lights shine upon each other and interpenetrate. For example, yesterday we talked about how the sixth patriarch had a white beam come out of the top of his head when he entered Nirvana. This kind of light is not one ray of light, but millions of rays of light. This light is not just one color, but millions of colors. Lights from the hair between the Buddha's eyebrows light up all beings in the 9 Dharma realms, the Dharma realm of the Buddhas. Though Buddhas are living beings, they do not belong to any of the 9 Dharma realms. This kind of light from between the Buddha's eyebrows not only lights up one world, but billions and billions of worlds. All Buddha lands throughout the worlds in the 10 directions are lit up with Shakyamuni Buddha's light. Shakyamuni Buddha releases this type of light from between his eyebrows to tell us that Amitabha Sutra is especially important. We should try our best to explain, scribe, print, and circulate the Amitabha Sutra. Do not dismiss the circulation of sutras. If you can print a lot of sutras and circulate sutras, then you will uncover your wisdom. Your wisdom will increase. Otherwise, why would people print sutras? I told the 2 disciples that perhaps after they amend the lecture notes to the 6th Patriarch Platform Sutra and the manuscript to the Amitabha Sutra, they can go and print and publish them when they go to Taiwan. Very few English sutras with commentaries are published in the West, like plants during droughts that require the nourishment of rain. We must print sutras quickly so that most people will understand the Buddha Dharma. This is a part of propagating the Buddha Dharma and something most critical in turning the great Dharma wheel. Why do I hope to see the English translations of the Amitabha Sutra and the 6th Patriarch Platform Sutra published in Taiwan? Printing is very inexpensive in Taiwan. You can create merit on this trip and use it as an opportunity to propagate the Buddha Dharma. So do not dismiss this. Sutra. They were the white ray, the great white ray, the auspicious ray, the great auspicious ray, the jade ray, the great jade ray, the purple ray, the great purple ray, the blue ray, the great blue ray, the azure ray, the great azure ray, the red ray, the great red ray, the green ray, the great green ray, the gold ray, the great gold ray, the celebration cloud ray, the great celebration cloud ray, the thousand-wheeled ray, the great thousand-wheeled ray, the jeweled wheel ray, the great jeweled wheel ray, the solar disk ray, the great solar disk ray, the lunar disk ray, the great lunar disk ray, the palace ray, the great palace ray, the ocean cloud ray, and the great ocean cloud ray. After emitting such rays of light from the crown of his head, he spoke in subtle and wonderful sounds to the great assembly of gods, dragons, the rest of the Eightfold Division, humans, non-humans, and others. Listen to me today in the palace of the Trayastrimsha Heaven, as I praise a star Bodhisattva, telling of his beneficial deeds, of inconceivable events, of the matter of his transcendence, to such wood of circumstances of his certification to the 10th ground, and of the situation leading to his becoming irreversible from Anuttara Samyak Sambuddhi. Commentary. They were the white color rays applied from the hair between the Buddha's eyebrows. The Buddha releases this kind of light that shatters all darkness. Earth-Star Bodhisattva and the Earth-Star Sutra can shatter all the darkness in the world. That is why there is a white ray, the great white ray, the auspicious ray, the great auspicious ray, the jade ray, rays of light like jade, the great jade ray, the purple ray, the great purple ray, the blue ray, not just small beams of blue light, but also the great blue ray, the azure ray, the great azure ray, the red ray, the great red ray, the green ray, the great green ray, the gold ray, the great gold ray, the celebration cloud ray that is an auspicious omen, the great celebration cloud ray, the thousand-wheeled ray. There are thousand-spoked wheels at the sole of the Buddha's feet. These lines contain a reflection of thousand-spoked wheels. The great thousand-wheeled ray, the jeweled wheel ray made with gems, the great jeweled wheel ray, the solar disk ray that manifests hundreds and thousands of suns and their sunlight, the great solar disk ray, the lunar disk ray with moonlight, the great lunar disk ray, the palace ray, contains many palaces adorned with the 7 jewels. The great palace ray, the ocean cloud ray, like rising clouds from the ocean, the great ocean cloud ray. Shakyamuni Buddha, after emitting such rays of light from the crown of his head, yesterday so-and-so asked me, what are these rays of light? Rays of light are lights and transformations of lights within these lights. He spoke in subtle and wonderful sounds. The Buddha possesses 4 kinds of eloquence and 8 kinds of sound. What are the 4 types of eloquence? 1. The eloquence of unobstructed meaning. 2. The eloquence of unobstructed Dharma. 3. The eloquence of unobstructed phrasing. 4. The eloquence of unobstructed delight in speaking. 1. The eloquence of unobstructed meaning. For example, it seems to be meaningless at first, but after the Buddha explains this Dharma, the meanings explained seem to be infinite. 2. The unobstructed eloquence of Dharma. First, there was just one kind of Dharma, but the Buddha can bring out infinite Dharmas from one kind of Dharma. Infinite Dharmas are then induced into one kind of Dharma. Once one source disperses to become myriad differences, but those myriad differences still return to the one. One thing can turn into myriad things, while the myriad dharmas can turn into one. One is infinite, and infinite is one. 3. The eloquence of unobstructed phrasing. Phrasing in the use of language. Some describe something in a matter of a few lines. The Buddha can explain a certain principle endlessly, like the lapping ocean waves. 4. The eloquence of unobstructed delight in speaking. Delight in speaking means enjoying lecture on the sutras and speaking the Dharma. They enjoy teaching beings by speaking the Dharma. They are delighted once they start speaking the Dharma. This is the 4th eloquence of unobstructed delight in speaking. The 8 types of sounds. We talked about the 4 types of eloquences often, but never the 8 types of sounds. Although we have never talked about them before, cultivators who worked hard know. The Buddha speaks Dharma with 8 types of sounds. First, the Buddha sound is the finest sound. You enjoy the sound of the Buddha. The more you hear, the more you enjoy listening to it. Unlike some people who sound like noisy chainsaws, The Buddha's voice is sonorous and crisp. The second is a gentle voice. The Buddha's voice is as gentle as a water flow. The more you listen, the more you feel that this sound is nice. It sounds even better than music. Thirdly, this kind of sound is appropriate, just right. This sound is so pleasant that there is nothing more people would like to listen. Fourth, noble and wise. The Buddha's voice is very noble. No need to listen to his words. Just the voice seems to contain infinite wisdom. Fifth, not yin. Some people speaking voice are yin. Women, for example, speak in a sugary voice. The Buddha's voice is not yin. Sixth, it is not facetious. Even when he is telling a joke, the listeners will find it very correct instead of banter. Seventh is deep and distant. Listen to the Buddha's voice. You do not know how deep it is or how far away you may hear it. Venerable Magalyayana used his spiritual powers to go eastward past infinite number of Buddha lands. He was searching for the Buddha's voice, trying to find out where the Buddha's voice could no longer be heard. He went to infinite number of lands, and yet the Buddha's voice seemed to be by his ear still. With his magnificent spiritual powers, you cannot find a place where the Buddha's voice could not be heard. This is deep and distant. Eighth, inexhaustible. This voice is unceasing. The Buddha's speaking voice is consecutive and continuous. The Buddha spoke the Dharma with 8 types of voice. Some people will only hear 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 characteristics out of these 8 types. Sometimes each person hears one trait. You find the voice deep and distant, while someone else finds it tender. People are different, so they hear different things. These 8 kinds of sounds are subtle and wonderful sounds. Remember these 8 types of sounds so you can emulate them as you speak the Dharma. So the great assembly of gods, dragons, the rest of the Eightfold Division, all those assembled at the Trayastrimsha Heaven. The Eightfold Division consists of gods, dragons, yakshas, gandharvas, asuras, kinnaras, maharagas, garudas, humans, non-humans, and others. Listen to me today in the palace of the Trayastrimsha Heaven as I praise Lord Bodhisattva, telling of his beneficial deeds, of inconceivable events, of the matter of his transcendence to sagehood. We talked about the causes that lead to sagehood earlier, such as listening to the sutras, meditating and studying the Buddha Dharma. Transcend means to take half the time. For instance, you were supposed to meditate for a year before you become enlightened. It ended up that you became enlightened in 2 days really fast. These are the causes for transcendence. Of the circumstances of his certification to the 10th ground, the fruition of Bodhisattvas, the 10 dwellings, 10 practices, and 10 transferences are called the 3 sets of worthy positions, the resulting positions of the 10 levels of Bodhisattvas. 1. Ground of happiness. They are very happy all the time. They do not ever cry. At this state of Bodhisattvas, they do not cry whether you beat them or scold them. They are happy regardless. They are happy when criticized or scolded. They are happy no matter what. This is the first ground. 2. Ground of living filth. Living filth is to part with the dharmas of defilement, becoming pure. Because of happiness, they leave behind defilement. When they do, they emit the light. 3. Ground of emitting light. There is no light where there is defilement. Part with defilement and there is light. What is defilement? Your impure thoughts are all about desire that make yourself greedy for comfort. Desires, especially sexual desire, make them defilements. Before reaching the level of living defilement, there is no releasing of light. Once defilement is left behind, their light is emitted. 4. Ground of blazing wisdom. The blazing wisdom ground produces wisdom. Wisdom is like a fire that burns up with a bright flame. This wisdom is like flames. Since you are releasing light, you have wisdom. So the fourth is the ground of blazing wisdom. 5. Ground of difficult to overcome. Nothing can defeat him. His wisdom manifests regardless of who is arguing with him. No spiritual powers of transformations can defeat him. This is the ground of difficult to overcome. 6. Ground of manifestation. What manifests? All the light of wisdom appears. 7. Ground of distant travels. Traveling for a long distance, traveling afar. 8. Ground of unmovingness. The 8th is unmoving, the ground of unmovingness. Unmoving in the Bodhimanda and yet transforming living beings throughout the 10 directions. Although he transforms and saves living beings throughout the 10 directions, but he remains unmoved. Although not moving, he can teach and transform all beings. 9. Ground of good wisdom, good at having wisdom. 10. Ground of Dharma clouds. This kind of Dharma is like clouds. The above have been explained briefly according to the meaning of the words, but to explain them in detail, there are many more meanings. If we wish to know in detail the 3 worthies and the 10 sages, the 10 grounds, we should study the Shuragama Sutra. The Shuragama Sutra explains the 10 dwellings, 10 practices, 10 transferences, and 10 grounds. They all are explained clearly. Look at the Shuragama Sutra and you will know in more detail. Certifying to the 10th ground here refers to the matter of a star Bodhisattva certifying to the 10th ground, and of the situation leading to his becoming irreversible from Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Ultimately, irreversibility is of many kinds. 1. Irreversible in position, not withdrawing from the 3 vehicles. 3. Irreversible in practice, not withdrawing from being ordinary people. 3. Irreversible in thought, not withdrawing from being bodhisattvas who always practice the Mahayana Dharma. These 3 irreversibilities refer to the irreversibility of position, practice, and thought. These 3 irreversibilities refer to not retreating from Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi is Sanskrit, which means unsurpassed, proper, equal, and right enlightenment. The enlightenment of those of the 2 vehicles is different than ordinary pupil. Although he is enlightened, he has not yet reached proper and equal enlightenment. What is proper and equal? Proper and equal enlightenment is for the Bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas are properly equal to Buddhas. Although they are properly equal to Buddhas and they are different than those of the 2 vehicles, they have not yet attained the unsurpassed. Only the Buddhas have reached the unsurpassed, proper, equal, and right enlightenment. Unsurpassed enlightenment is different than that of the Bodhisattvas. This is why the Buddha's resultant position is called unsurpassed, proper, equal, and right enlightenment. Now, although earth-stalking Bodhisattva has not realized Buddhahood yet, his resultation position is the same as the Buddha. This is why the Buddha described the causes and conditions that led to the Bodhisattva's unsurpassed, proper, equal, and right enlightenment. After he said that, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva named contemplator of the world sounds rose up from his seat in the assembly, knelt, and with palms together said to the Buddha, "World honored one, a star Bodhisattva Mahasattva is replete with great compassion and pities beings who are suffering for their offenses. In thousands of billions of worlds, he manifests thousands of billions of transformation bodies through the strength of his meritorious virtue and inconceivable awesome spiritual power. I have heard the world honored one and the numberless Buddhas of the 10 directions praise Ashta Bodhisattva in unison, saying that even if all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future were to speak of his meritorious qualities, they could never finish describing them. Upon hearing the world honored one tell the great assembly that he now wants to raise Ashta Bodhisattva's beneficial deeds and so forth, and beseeching the world honored one to praise the inconceivable events pertaining to Ashta Bodhisattva for the sake of beings of the present and future, and to cause the gods, dragons, and the rest of the Eightfold Division to gaze at him in worship and obtain blessings. Commentary. After he, Shakyamuni Buddha, said that a Bodhisattva in the Dharma assembly who is not an average Bodhisattva but the great Bodhisattva, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva named Contemplator of the Vows. Contemplator is the wisdom that observes, while the Vows are the states contemplated. Due to his compassion and wisdom, he searches out and contemplates the sounds of pain made by beings throughout the worlds of the 10 directions. A Bodhisattva then rose up from his seat in the assembly, knelt on his right knee, and with palms together said to the Buddha, World honored one, Ashta Bodhisattva Mahasattva is replete with great compassion and pities beings who are suffering for their offenses. In thousands of billions of worlds, he manifests thousands of billions of transformation bodies through the strength of his meritorious virtue and inconceivable awesome spiritual power. I have heard. Kwanchen Bodhisattva says, I hear the world honored one and the numberless Buddhas of the 10 directions praise Ashta Bodhisattva in unison. With different mouths, they say the same things in one unified voice. All Buddhas throughout the 10 directions praise Ashta Bodhisattva in unison. The other layer of meaning here is that Kwanchen Bodhisattva heard infinite Buddhas throughout the 10 directions praise Ashta Bodhisattva, that although they are not of the same time, they say the same things. They all say that Ashta Bodhisattva has inconceivable wisdom and spiritual powers, saying that even if all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future were to speak of his meritorious qualities, all Buddhas throughout the 10 directions and 3 periods of time speak of Ashta Bodhisattva's merit, they could never finish describing them. As before, upon hearing the world honored one tell everyone in the great assembly that he now wants to praise Ashta Bodhisattva's beneficial deeds for humans and gods and so forth, I am beseeching the world honored one to praise the inconceivable events pertaining to Ashta Bodhisattva. Kwanchen Bodhisattva invites Shakyamuni Buddha to explain the inconceivable merit and wisdom of the Ashta Bodhisattva for the sake of beings of the present and future, and to cause the gods, dragons, and the rest of the Eightfold Division to gaze at him in worship and obtain blessings, to respectfully behold and bow to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas accrues infinite merit. They are really infinite if considered in their finer details. Now let us speak briefly about the 5 kinds of merit for worshipping the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. 1. With the upright and perfect features, people like you and respect you at the mere sight of you. 2. A wonderful voice, crisp and sonorous voice like the bells. 3. Wealthy. Bowing and paying respects to images of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will bring a bounty of valuables and gems in the future. 4. Noble birth. Born in a family of higher status, one that is virtuous and respectable. 5. Birth in the heavens. These are the 5 kinds of merit from bowing to the Buddhas. The Buddha replied to the contemplator of the world's self, Bodhisattva, "You have deep affinities with the Saha world. If gods, dragons, men, women, spirits, ghosts, or any other beings who are suffering for offenses within the six paths hear your name, see your image, behold you, or praise you, they will definitely become irreversible on the unsurpassed way. They will always be born among people and gods and there experience wonderful bliss. When the effects of their causes come to fruition, they will encounter Buddhas who will give them predictions. You are now replete with great compassion and pity for beings, including gods, dragons, and the rest of the Eightfold Division. Listen as I discuss events involving the inconceivable benefits bestowed by Ashtar Bodhisattva. Listen attentively. I will discuss it for you. Contemplator of the world said, "So be the world honored one. We will be pleased to listen." Commentary. The Buddha replied to contemplator of the world's south, Bodhisattva, "You have a deep affinities with the Saha world. Your conditions are especially profound with those in the Saha world of southern Jambudvipa, this world of suffering that requires patience to bear. If gods, all the dragons, good men or good women, all the spirits and ghosts, or any other beings who are suffering for offenses within the six paths, gods, humans, asuras, hell beings, hungry ghosts, and animals, when they hear your name, question Bodhisattva's name, see your image made of clay, metal, wood, or stone, or drawn on paper, they behold you with a strong attachment, or praise you, they will definitely become irreversible on the unsurpassed way. They will always be born among people and gods and their experience wonderful bliss. When the effects of their causes come to fruition, they will encounter Buddhas who will give them predictions of future Buddhahood. You are now replete with great compassion and pity for all beings, including gods, dragons, and the rest of the Eightfold Division. Listen as I discuss events involving the inconceivable benefits bestowed upon the humans, gods, and beings of the six realms of Ashtar Bodhisattva. Listen attentively and think it over. I will discuss it for you. Contemplator of the world's house said, "So be the world honored one." Quan Yin Bodhisattva says, "At that time, yes, I agree. Let us have the world honored one speak for us, please. We of this great assembly will be pleased to listen to the inconceivable state of Ashtar Bodhisattva." Sutra. The Buddha told the Bodhisattva contemplator of the world's house, in worlds of the present and future, gods whose heavenly blessings are ending may be manifesting the five sides of decay, indicating that they may be about to fall into the evil paths. When those signs appear, if those gods, whether male or female, see Ashtar Bodhisattva's image or hear his name and gaze at him or bow but once to him, their heavenly blessings will thereby increase. They will experience great happiness and will never have to undergo retributions in the three evil paths. How much more will that be the case for those who, upon seeing and hearing the Bodhisattva, use incense, flowers, clothing, food, drink, jewels, and necklaces as gifts and offerings to him? The meritorious virtue, blessings, and benefits they gain will be limitless and unbounded. Commentary. The Buddha told the Bodhisattva contemplator of the world's house and all those assembled in the Dharma assembly, in worlds of the present and future, gods whose heavenly blessings are ending may be manifesting the five sides of decay. God's blessings are so much more enjoyable in the heavens than in the human realm. However, Gods have the 5 sides of decay. What are they? 1. The floral crown wilts. When the 5 sides of decay occur, the crown of flowers falls away. 2. Their clothing becomes dusty. The gods' clothing do not need washing, it is always clean. When dust gets on their clothes, they are close to death. 3. Their armpits are sweaty. Gods do not sweat, but when the 5 sides of decay occur, perspiration comes from their armpits. 4. Their bodies smell. Gods have a nice scent about them, but when their sides of decay appear, they have a stench about them. 5. They do not enjoy sitting still. Gods are always meditating. When they are about to die, they cannot bear to be sitting in meditation anymore. They do not know whether to sit or stand. They stand up, then sit down, then stand up. This is about the time that they fall, turning possibly into hungry ghosts, animals, hell beings, or humans. These are the 5 major sides of decay. There are also 5 minor sides of decay. What are they? 1. No delightful voice. Heavenly beings have really beautiful voices. When their 5 sides of decay appear, their voices become unpleasant and ugly. 2. The light to their bodies dims. Heavenly beings have a light to their bodies, but when one of these minor 5 sides of decay appear, the light on their bodies is not so light but dims. 3. Bath water sticks to their bodies. Originally, when heavenly beings bath, their bodies cannot be touched by water, but water drips down like on glass. When the 5 minor sides of decay appear, bath water sticks to their body. 4. Attached to states. They are attached to whatever states they encounter and cannot give them up. 5. Weak body and rolling eyes. When the 5 minor sides of decay appear, their bodies are really weak and unhealthy. Heavenly beings rarely have their eyeballs roll about with their eyes open. But when the 5 minor sides of decay appear, heavenly beings' eyeballs roll back and forth. These are the 5 minor sides of decay. There is another list of 7. These 7 includes the 5 major sides of decay. 1. Light goes out. They do not have any more lights. 2. Wilted floral crown. The garland of flowers on their heads falls away. 3. Change in appearance. Heavenly beings' appearances are flawless. When sides of decay occur, they go from being good looking to being bad looking. 4. Dust alights on their clothing. 5. Sweat from their armpits. 6. Skinnier bodies. Heavenly beings do not need much nourishment, and yet they are not thin. When one of their sides of decay occurs, they are skinny. 7. No delight in being in their seats. They leave their seats. 5 minor sides of decay, 5 major sides of decay, and 7 sides of decay are sides that occur when heavenly beings use up their heavenly blessings, indicating that they may be about to fall into the evil paths. When those sides appear, if those gods, whether male or female, see a star Bodhisattva's image or hear his holy name and gaze at him or bow but once to him, the heavenly blessings will thereby increase. They will experience great happiness and will never have to undergo retributions in the 3 evil paths. How much more will that be the case for those who, upon seeing and hearing the Bodhisattva, use a variety of incense, an array of flowers, different clothing, various food, drink, and all kinds of jewels and decorative necklaces made of valuables as gifts and offerings to him. As the Bodhisattva, the meritorious virtue, blessings, and benefits they gain will be limitless and unbounded. Sutra, moreover, contemplate the worlds in worlds of the present and future, when beings in the 6 paths are on the verge of death, if they can hear the name of a star Bodhisattva even once. Such beings will never have to endure the sufferings of the three evil paths again. How much more will that be the case if the parents and other relatives use the houses, wealth, property, jewels, and clothing of such people who are on the verge of death to commission the carving or painting of images of a star Bodhisattva? If those ailing people have not yet died, their relatives can try to have them see, hear, and understand that their houses, jewels, and so forth have been used to carve or paint images of a star Bodhisattva. If those people's karmic retributions were such that they were to undergo severe sickness, then with such merit they can quickly be cured and their lifespans prolonged. If those people's retributions send them to the evil destinies of death due to their karma and obstacles, then with such merit they can, when their lives end, be born instead among people of gods and there enjoy extremely wonderful bliss. All their obstacles due to offenses will dissolve. Commentary. Moreover, contemplator of the world's house, in worlds of the present and future, when beings in the six paths are on the verge of death, if they can hear the name of a star Bodhisattva even once, such beings will never have to endure the sufferings of the three evil paths again. How much more will that be the case if the parents and other relatives use the houses, wealth, property, jewels, and clothing of such people who are on the verge of death to commission the carving or painting of images of a star Bodhisattva? If those ailing people have not yet died, their relatives can try to have them see, hear, and understand that their houses, jewels, and so forth have been used to carve or paint images of a star Bodhisattva. Patients create merit by building images of a star Bodhisattva. If those pupils' karmic retributions were such that they were to undergo severe sickness, entangled by demons of illness and karmic obstructions, then with such merit they can quickly be cured. Create an image of a star Bodhisattva for them and they will recover soon, and their lifespans prolonged. If those pupils' retributions send them to the evil destinies, a death due to their karma and obstacles, then with such merit they can, when their lives end, be born instead among people of gods and there enjoy extremely wonderful bliss. All their obstacles due to offenses will dissolve, vanish. Sutra. Moreover, contemplator of the world's house of Bodhisattva, in the future, men or women may lose their fathers, mothers, brothers, or sisters while still infants or as youngsters. As adults, such people may think about those parents and other relatives, not knowing into what paths or worlds or heavens they have been reborn. Suppose that such people are able to sculpt or paint images of a star Bodhisattva, to hear his name, or to gaze upon and worship him for 1 through 7 days without retreating. Thus, upon hearing his name and seeing his image, they gaze at him in worship and make offerings. If such people's relatives had fallen into bad paths and were destined to remain there for many aeons, those relatives would quickly gain release, be born among people or gods, and experience supremely wonderful bliss. That will happen because of the meritorious virtue generated by their sons, daughters, brothers, or sisters who carved or painted images of a star Bodhisattva and then gazed upon and worshipped them. If such people's relatives have already been born among people or gods on the strength of their own blessings and are already experiencing supremely wonderful bliss, then upon receiving that additional merit, their causes pertaining to sagehood will increase and they will experience limitless bliss. Commentary. Moreover, Contemplator of the world's house of Bodhisattva says, Shakyamuni Buddha, let me tell you another inconceivable state, Quan-Shin Bodhisattva. In the future, cat-hearted men or women may lose their fathers, mothers. Their parents may have died, disappeared, or gotten lost. They may have lost their brothers or sisters too, while still infants or as youngsters. As adults, such people may think about those parents and other relatives, not knowing into what paths of gods, humans, asuras, or hungry ghosts, or other worlds or heavens they have been reborn. Suppose that such people are able to sculpt or paint images of a star Bodhisattva using clay, wood, gold, silver, copper, metal, or paper. To hear his name, even if they do not sculpt or draw images of a star Bodhisattva, but just to hear a star Bodhisattva's name, or to gaze upon and worship him for 1 through 7 days without retreating. They do not give up that very first intent to bow to an image of a star Bodhisattva. Thus, upon hearing his name and seeing his image, they gaze at him in worship and make offerings. If such people's relatives had fallen into bad paths of asuras, hell beings, hungry ghosts, and animals, and were destined to remain there for many eons, according to their offenses, they should be in the hells, the 4 evil realms, for as long a time as an unfathomable number of great eons. Those relatives, such as parents, siblings, and other deceased individuals, would quickly gain release from their offense karma, be born among people or gods, and experience supremely wonderful bliss. That will happen because of the meritorious virtue generated by their sons, daughters, brothers, or sisters who carved or painted images of a star Bodhisattva and then gazed upon and worshipped them. If such people's relatives have already been born among people or gods on the strength of their own blessings and are already experiencing supremely wonderful bliss, then upon receiving that additional merit and blessings, their causes pertaining to sagehood will increase and they will experience limitless bliss. Supremely wonderful bliss earlier now becomes limitless bliss. Sutra. If such people are able to behold and worship images of a star Bodhisattva single-mindedly for 3 weeks, reciting his name a full 10,000 times, the Bodhisattva may then manifest about his body and describe to those people the realms into which their relatives have been born, or in their dreams, the Bodhisattva may manifest great spiritual powers and personally lead them to those who want to see their relatives. If they can further recite the Bodhisattva's name 1,000 times a day, every day for 1,000 days, the Bodhisattva will order the ghosts and earth spirits in the vicinity of such people to guard and protect them for their entire lives. In this world, their clothing and food will be abundant, and they will have no suffering from sickness or other causes. No accidents will occur in their households, much less affect them personally. Finally, the Bodhisattva will rub the crowns of their heads and bestow predictions upon them. Commentary. If such people are able to behold and worship images of a star Bodhisattva single-mindedly for 3 weeks, the individual who sculpts or draws images of a star Bodhisattva, who gaze upon and worship images of a star Bodhisattva can, for 3 weeks instead of the 1 week before, recite his name a full 10,000 times. The Bodhisattva may then manifest a boundless body that is boundless and omnipresent. He manifests to teach every type of being, But this sutra passage here means that a star bodhisattva appears an individual during these 3 weeks and describe to those people the realms into which their parents, relatives have been born, or in their dreams. Since some Buddhists are too confused, the Bodhisattva cannot make contact with us or communicate with us when we are awake and conscious. The Bodhisattva may manifest great spiritual powers and personally lead them to every one of those who wants to see all their relatives. If they can further recite Namo Star Bodhisattva's name 1000 times a day, every day for 1000 days, which is about 3 years, the Bodhisattva will order the ghosts and earth spirits in the vicinity when such people live to guard and protect them for their entire lives. In this world, their clothing and food will be abundant, and they will have no suffering from sickness or other causes. No accidents will occur in their households, much less affect them personally. Finally, the Bodhisattva will definitely come rub the crowns of their heads and bestow predictions upon them. He will say, "Good man, your great resolve for Bodhi will bear Bodhi fruits in the future." Sutra. Moreover, contemplator of the world's house Bodhisattva, in the future, good men or women may want to practice great compassion in rescuing beings, may want to cultivate unsurpassed Bodhi, and may want to leave the 3 realms. Those people may see a star Bodhisattva's image, hear his name, and in their hearts take refuge with him. They may use incense, flowers, clothing, jewels, food, and drink to make offerings while beholding and worshipping him. Such good people's wishes will quickly be fulfilled, and they will never have further obstructions. Commentary. Moreover, let me tell you in detail, contemplator of the world's house Bodhisattva, in the worlds of the future, good men or women who cultivate the 5 precepts and the 10 good deeds may want to practice great compassion in rescuing beings. Why do they develop great compassion? To save all beings who may want to cultivate unsurpassed Bodhi and may want to leave the 3 realms of desire, form, and formlessness. The house is on fire. Those people may see a star Bodhisattva's image, hear his name, and in their hearts sincerely take refuge with him. They may use various incense, flowers, clothing, jewels, food, and drink to make offerings to a star Bodhisattva while beholding and worshipping him. Such good people's wishes will quickly be fulfilled, and they will never have any further obstructions. Sutra. Moreover, contemplator of the world's house Bodhisattva, in the future, good men and women may want to fulfill millions, billions of vows, and to succeed in as many undertakings both in the present and the future. They need only take refuge with, gaze upon, worship, make offerings to, and praise the images of the star Bodhisattva. In this way, their vows and goals can all be realized. Moreover, they may hope that a star Bodhisattva, being endowed with great compassion, will always protect them. In dreams, the Bodhisattva will rub the crowns of their heads and bestow predictions upon them. Commentary. Moreover, contemplator of the world's house Bodhisattva, in the future, good men and women may want to fulfill not just one, but millions and billions of vows. Vows are what they want. What do they want? Whatever you want will be granted. And to succeed in as many undertakings both in the present and the future, you will get whatever you want, but there is one thing you need to do. What is that? They need only take refuge with, gaze upon, worship, make offerings to, and praise images of a star Bodhisattva. In this way, their vows and goals can all be realized. They can complete their power of vows. Moreover, they may hope that a star Bodhisattva, being endowed with great compassion, will always protect them. Asleep or in dreams, the Bodhisattva will wrap the crowns of their heads and bestow predictions upon them. Sutra. Moreover, contemplator of the world's house Bodhisattva, in the future good men and women may have a high regard for the Mahayana Sutras and make the inconceivable resolve to read them and to recite them from memory. They may then encounter a bright master who instructs them so that they can become familiar with the text. But as soon as they learn them, they forget them. They may try for months or years and yet still be unable to read or recite them from memory. Because those good men and women have karmic obstructions from past lives that have not yet been dissolved, they are unable to read and memorize sutras of the great Venerable. Upon hearing Earth Star Bodhisattva's name or seeing his image, such people should, with deep respect and honesty, state their situation to the Bodhisattva. In addition, they should use incense, flowers, clothing, food, and drink, and other beloved material objects to make offerings to the Bodhisattva. They should place a bowl of pure water before the Bodhisattva for 1 day and 1 night. Afterwards, joining the palms together, they should state their request and then, while facing south, prepare to drink the water. As the water is about to enter their mouths, they should be particularly sincere and solemn. After drinking the water, they should abstain from the 5 pungent plants, wine, meat, improper sexual activity, false speech, and all killing and harming for 1 to 3 weeks. In dreams, those good men or women may then see Earth Star Bodhisattva manifesting about his body and anointing the crowns of the heads with water. When they awaken, they may be endowed with keen intelligence. Upon hearing this sutra but 1 time, they will eternally remember it and never forget or lose a single sentence or verse. Commentary. Moreover, contemplator of the world's house Bodhisattva, in the future good men and women may have a high regard for the Mahayana Sutras. They consider Mahayana Sutras more highly than any valuable, and make the inconceivable resolve to read them and to recite the Mahayana Sutras from memory. I swear to become very familiar with this sutra, since they developed such an incredible intent and determination. They may then encounter a bright master who instructs them on reading sutras so that they can become familiar with the texts. But as soon as they learn them, they forget them. They may try to study in their every movement or action for several or many months or 1 or many years, a long time, and yet still be unable to read clearly or recite them from memory. They may have it memorized after reading it a few times, then forget again. Because those good men and women have karmic obstructions from past lives, why do they recite sutras and forget, recite and forget again? It is because these individuals have karmic obstructions from past lives that prevent them from memorizing the sutras. The karmic obstruction makes you lazy and not wish to recite the sutras. Karmic obstruction makes you sleepy when you want to read the sutras. Karmic obstruction makes you drowsy when you want to recite the sutras. Strangely enough, you are full of energy when you do not recite the sutras, but you want to sleep as soon as you recite the sutra. Put down the sutras and your sleep demon runs away, and your sleep demon runs away. You are no longer sleepy. Start reading again. It is here again. I believe a number of you have this type of experience. You want to listen to the sutras, but instead of listening, you want to sleep. If you chit-chat and engage in meaningless conversation, then the more you talk, the more energetic you get. Saliva flies about as you speak that it is practically raining. You are not sleepy. Karmic obstructions have not yet been resolved. This is why they are unable to read and memorize sutras of the great vehicle. You do not have enough memory to even read or recite. Upon hearing Earth-star Bodhisattva's name or seeing his image, such people should not worry or be sad. With deep respect and honesty, their wondrous and bright true mind rather than their false mind, reverently state their situation to the Bodhisattva. They share their opinions and comments. What opinions and comments? They say, Namo Great Vows, Earth-star King Bodhisattva, please be compassionate and help me eliminate this demon of sleep, this demonic obstruction of a poor memory. Make my head clear and memory excellent. In addition, they should use a wide variety of incense, flowers, clothing, food, and drink. Drinks here refer not to alcohol but to soup. Do not misunderstand this drink for alcohol beverages. If you imbibe alcohol, your memory will be even worse. And they use other beloved material objects to make offerings to the Bodhisattva. Why? Do Bodhisattvas play with their beloved object? Do they like toys? For example, balls that children play with may be offered to a stalking Bodhisattva. A stalking Bodhisattva does not necessarily want to play ball, but he enjoys your offerings of your favorite things. They should place a bowl of pure water, not dirty water, before the Bodhisattva as an offering for one day and one night. Afterwards, joining their palms together, they should state their request as they sincerely and earnestly contemplate that a stalking Bodhisattva bless this water. I believe this is extremely important. And then, while facing south, prepare to drink the water as the water is about to enter their mouths. They should be particularly sincere and solemn. After drinking the water, they should abstain from the 5 pungent plants, onions, chives, scallions, garlic, and shallots. These spicy things and their like increase people's drowsiness, stupidity, and sexual desire. We must avoid this. Be careful not to use the 5 pungent plants as well as wine, meat, improper sexual activity. Avoid intercourse and false speech and or killing and harming for 1 to 3 weeks. In dreams, those good men and women may then see a star Bodhisattva manifesting about his body and anointing the crowns of their heads with water like a sweet dew. In the 42 hands and eyes, there is a sweet dew hand where the Bodhisattva anoints the crown of the heads with this hand. When the sweet dew hand is extended, you will feel like you are taking a shower. Wash away all the defilements so that there are no more karmic obstacles, so that you are clean. You cannot be lazy and stop cultivating for even 1 day. Stop a day and you will have to start all over. When they awaken, they may be endowed with a keen intelligence. Is that not bizarre? Sleep, have a dream, wake up, and then they are smart. Is that not wonderful? Do you want to be that way? If you do, try it. Upon hearing this sutra but one time, they will eternally remember it. You used to always forget, but not this time. You cannot forget even if you want to. For example, someone says that he wants to think of a way to stop coming to the Buddhist lecture hall, but cannot think of a way. He still wants to come. This is strange, and never forget of or lose a single sentence or verse. This is really wonderful beyond words. Sutra. Moreover, contemplator of the world's South Bodhisattva, in the future there may be pupils whose food and clothing are insufficient, who find their efforts thwarted, who endure much sickness or misfortune, whose families are not peaceful, whose relatives are scattered, who are accident prone, or who are often startled in their sleep by dreams. Upon hearing a Bodhisattva's name and seeing his image, such pupils should recite his name a full 10,000 times with extreme sincerity and respect. Those inauspicious circumstances will gradually disappear, and they will find peace and happiness. Their food and clothing will be abundant, and even in their dreams, they will be peaceful and happy. Commentary. Moreover, contemplator of the Vows Bodhisattva, in the future there may be pupils whose food and clothing are insufficient. They have no money to buy new clothes even if they want them. They may be willing to wear used clothing, but that kind of clothing is rare or cannot be found. They get a good meal one day, but only after a number of days do they get their next meal. Who find their efforts thwarted. Whatever they want, they do not get, including food and clothing, not to mention other things. Things go against their wishes. Who endure much sickness. They may be sick often. Perhaps they work, do business, or think of some way to earn money that is supposed to last a few months, but then they get sick unexpectedly. Their illnesses require money to pay for doctor visits, medicine, and hospitalization. Since there was no fund to purchase health insurance, they do not have insurance. Their illness uses up what little money they had. When they recover, their money is used up. Once they recover, they have to find some way to earn more money. When money comes, they get sick again. Why is this? This is a karmic obstruction or misfortune, inauspiciousness that makes everything worse, whose families are not peaceful. It is not the house, but it is the pupil in the house who are unpeaceful, whose relatives are scattered. Family members split up and do not get together often, who are accident prone. Things are hard on the body occur often. For example, if you want to be healthy, you get sick. Or who are often startled in their sleep by dreams. For instance, we were talking about dreams a few days ago about how some dream of assassinations by shooting or near hits by large stones weighing several hundred or several thousand tons rolling down from a mountain and down to the valley where they are. Or they dream about walls next to them collapsing and nearly crush them to death. Their whole body breaks out in sweat from their frightening nightmares. Upon hearing a Bodhisattva's name and seeing his image, such people should recite his name a full 10,000 times with extreme sincerity and respect. Those inauspicious circumstances will gradually disappear, and they will find peace and happiness. Their unhappiness turns into joy because they have recited the Bodhisattva's name 10,000 times. The food and clothing will be abundant. They used to be short of clothing and food, but now they have an abundance of clothing and food. They have enough of everything, and even in their dreams, they will be peaceful and happy. Sutra. Moreover, contemplator of the Vows Bodhisattva in the future, good men or women may have to enter mountain forests, cross rivers, seas, or other large bodies of water, or take dangerous routes either for the sake of earning their own livelihood or for public or personal affairs, matters of life and death, or other urgent business. Such people should first recite the name of a Bodhisattva a full 10,000 times. The ghosts and spirits of the lands they pass through will then guard and protect them in their walking, standing, sitting, and lying down. The peace and happiness of those people will constantly be preserved, so that even if they encounter tigers, wolves, lions, or any other harmful or poisonous creatures, they will not be harmed. Commentary. Moreover, contemplator of the world's Bodhisattva, in the future, good men or women may have to encounter mountain forests, cross rivers, seas, or other large bodies of water, or take dangerous routes where there are wolves, tigers, leopards, or bandits, either for the sake of earning their own livelihood or for public or personal affairs, matters of life and death that require them to send notices to another person or other urgent business emergencies. Such a pupil should first recite the name of a Bodhisattva a full 10,000 times. The ghosts and spirits of the lands they pass through will then guard and protect them in their walking, standing, sitting, and lying down. The peace and happiness of those pupils will constantly be preserved. As you head to Taiwan now, do not be afraid. Your flight will be safe. I will guarantee your safety as long as you practice the 42 hands and eyes and the name of a stalking Bodhisattva. I accept insurance at any price, so that even if they encounter tigers, wolves, lions, the likes of ferocious beasts that eat people, or any other harmful or poisonous creatures, they will not be harmed. Sutra. The Buddha told contemplator of the world's Bodhisattva, a Bodhisattva has a deep affinities with beings in Jambudvipa. Hundreds of thousands of years would not be time enough to describe the benefits derived by beings who see this Bodhisattva and hear his name. Therefore, contemplator of the world's Bodhisattva, you should use your spiritual powers to propagate this sutra, thus enabling beings in the Side world to enjoy peace and happiness always, throughout hundreds of millions of years. Commentary. The Buddha told contemplator of the world's Bodhisattva, a Bodhisattva has this type of cause, this kind of deep affinities with all beings in Jambudvipa. Hundreds of millions, thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years would not be time enough to describe in detail the benefits derived by beings who see this Bodhisattva and hear his name. Therefore, contemplator of the world's Bodhisattva, you should use your spiritual powers to propagate the Ashta Sutra, thus enabling beings in the Side world to enjoy peace and happiness always, throughout hundreds of years, thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, and hundreds of millions of years. Sutra. At that time, the world honored one spoke verses saying, I observe that Ashta's awesome spiritual strength could not be described in aeons numerous as the Ganges sands. Seeing, hearing, beholding, and bowing to him even once benefits people and gods in endless numbers of ways. Men and women, gods and dragons, near the end of their rewards and doomed to fall into the evil paths, can sincerely take refuge with this great being, thereby lengthening their lives and dispelling offenses. Commentary. At that time, the world honored one spoke verses saying, at that point in time, the world honored one was afraid that most people did not understand everything clearly, so he repeated what he said in verses. I observed that the stars awesome spiritual strength. Shakyamuni Buddha told Kwanshi Bodhisattva that I noticed the awesome virtue of a star and the strength of his spiritual powers could not be described in eons numerous as Ganges sands, even if I were to take as long a time as it takes to count all the grains of sand in the Ganges to describe the power of his might. I could not do it. seeing, hearing, beholding, and bowing to him even once, seeing a Bodhisattva's image and hearing a Bodhisattva's name by being respectful in a matter of a thought, benefits people and gods in at least numbers of ways. The respect in one thought will earn them future benefits. They may become born in the heavens or the human realm. They may acquire an infinite number of benefits, men and women, gods and dragons, near the end of their rewards, and doomed to fall into the evil paths. When the bodies, their retribution proper, disintegrate and their lives come to an end, they should fall into the threefold destinies. Can sincerely take refuge with this great being, a Bodhisattva, thereby lengthening their lives and dispelling offenses. They will live longer and their obstructions vanish. Sutra. Sometimes youngsters lose their kind and loving parents and do not know what path they are now on. Quite often, lots of brothers, sisters, and other kin were never known to their surviving relatives. By sculpting or painting this Bodhisattva's image, and then beseeching, gazing at, and bowing to him, and holding his name in mind from three hands. Those relatives may see the Bodhisattva's body. The Bodhisattva may show them where those kin were born, and even quickly free those in bad destinies. If those praying can sustain their initial resolve, crowds may be wrapped, sexually predictions given. Commentary. Sometimes youngsters lose their kind of loving parents. They may have lost their father, mother, or sibling at a young age. They do not grow up in a loving family and do not know what paths they are now on. When they grow up and wonder where the family members' souls are, in which realm, quite often lost brothers, sisters, and other kin were never known to their surviving relatives they had never met when they were alive. By sculpting or painting this Bodhisattva's image, perhaps they use plaster, wood, stone, copper, metal, gold, silver, and other material to make images of a Bodhisattva. Or they draw a paper an image of a Bodhisattva, and then beseeching, gazing at, and bowing to him. They grow sad at being so attached to gazing and worshipping a Bodhisattva. Consequently, they always bow to images of a Bodhisattva and holding his name in mind for 3 weeks. Those relatives may see the Bodhisattva's body. A Bodhisattva will manifest infinite Dharma bodies. The Bodhisattva may show them where those kin were born. He points out where their parents or siblings were reborn, and even quickly free those in bad destinies. Even if they were to fall into any of the 4 evil realms, they will exit it soon. If those praying can sustain their initial resolve, crowds may be wrapped, sexually predictions given. A Bodhisattva will wrap them on the crown of their heads and bestow predictions at that time. Sutra. Those determined who cultivate a surpassed body and escape the suffering here in the 3 realms should let their great compassionate paths as they first behold and bow to this being, to this great being. That every vow they make will soon be fulfilled, and no bad karma will ever hinder or stop them. Some people may resolve to read the sutra texts, hoping to have confused beings reach the other shore. Although the vows they make are quite remarkable, try as they may, they cannot remember what they read. Because of their karmic obstacles and delusions, those people cannot memorize the sutras Mahayana, but they can offer incense and flowers to a store and give them clothes, food, and other beloved material objects. They can set pure water on the Bodhisattva's altar, leaving it there a day and night before they drink it. They should rigorously abstain from pungent plants, alcohol, meat, improper sex, and false speech. For 3 weeks, they should not kill any creature while being mindful of the name of that great being. Then, in a dream, their vision may become boundless. Awakening, they may find that they now have keen ears. After that, when they hear the teachings of the sutras, they will never forget them for millions of lives. How inconceivable is this Bodhisattva in helping people like that gain such wisdom? Commentary. Those determined to cultivate unsurpassed Buddhi, people who want to practice to realize unsurpassed enlightenment and escape the suffering here in the 3 realms, they may even want to mark the resolve to transcend the insufferable distress of the triple realm, the realms of desire, form, and formlessness. Should let their greatly compassionate hearts unfold, having brought forth great kindness and great compassion. As they first behold and bow to this great being, they should first feel a sense of respect before an image of a star King Bodhisattva. Then every vow they make will soon be fulfilled. All your wishes will be realized soon, fulfilled quickly, and all bad karma will ever hinder to stop them. No karmic obstruction will ever prevent you from cultivating. Some people may resolve to read the sutra text. Some develop the resolves of Mahayana Bodhisattvas who wish to read and recite Mahayana Sutras, hoping to help confused beings such the other shore. Why read sutras? It is because that they wish to save all lost beings so that they transcend the triple realm and reach the other shore. Although the vows they make are quite remarkable, although they made such inconceivable vows, try as they may, they cannot remember what they read. They read Mahayana Sutras once and cannot remember. They read them twice and forget again. They forget as soon as they read them. They can never remember the words and phrases of status. They may look right at text and read them incorrectly, not to mention recalling them, because of their karmic obstacles and delusions. Why are people like this? They have a tremendous karmic obstruction that prevents them from memorizing the sutras. Those people cannot memorize the Mahayana Sutras, no matter how hard they try. They cannot recall and cannot commit them to memory. But they can offer incense and flowers to a store. What can they do about this? They should make offerings of incense, flowers, lamps, candies, and fruits to a store Bodhisattva, and give him clothes, food, and other beloved material objects. Perhaps make offerings of new clothing, fresh food, and all kinds of toys to a store Bodhisattva. They can set pure water on the Bodhisattva's altar, place a bowl of clean water before an image of a star Bodhisattva, leaving it there a day and night before they drink it. After 24 hours, kneel before the Buddha or a star Bodhisattva. Both then drink this water while facing the south. They should rigorously abstain from pungent plants, be especially sincere, not casual. Do not eat the 5 pungent plants: onions, garlic, scallions, shallows, and chives. Eating any of these things leaves your mouth with a strange taste, which is disrespectful to read the sutra and avoid them. Alcohol, meat, improper sex, and false speech. Avoid alcohol, meat, sexual misconduct, and dishonesty. Observe the 5 precepts against killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and taking intoxicants. For 3 weeks, we should not kill any creature, should not steal, should not engage in sexual misconduct, and should not lie, and should not take intoxicants. While being mindful of the name of that great being, the utmost in being mindful of the name of Ashta Bodhisattva and contemplate the vows and behavior of Ashta Bodhisattva. Utmost mindfulness means entertaining no other thoughts. Then in a dream, the vision may become balanced. They are extremely sincere to the point that they see Ashta Bodhisattva and his balanced Dharma body in their dreams. Awakening, they may find that they now have a keen ears. When they wake up from their dream, the ears are smart and keen. They do not forget anything if I hear it just once. After that, when they hear the teachings of the sutras, all the Mahayana sutras that they read only need to be heard once. They will never forget them for millions of lives. They will not forget for tens of millions of lives, not to mention this mere lifetime. For tens of millions of lives, they will remember the meanings contained in these sutras. How inconceivable is this Bodhisattva? The various conditions described earlier occur because of Ashta Bodhisattva's inconceivable states and spiritual powers. In helping people like that, such wisdom, they can help those with poor memory develop excellent memory. Those with feeble mind become intelligent. He has the spiritual power to enjoy an entertaining of responses and the spiritual. Sutra. Beings may be impoverished or plagued with disease. Their homes may be troubled, their relatives scattered. They may find no peace even in sleep or dreams. Their efforts may be totally thwarted. But beholding and bowing to a star's image and can cause all those evils to simply disappear. Dreams will become entirely peaceful. Food and clothes are ample. Spirits and ghosts now guardians. Commentary. Beings may be impoverished or plagued with disease. Their homes can be troubled or disaster stricken according to and crumbling, their relatives scattered. They may find no peace even in sleep or in dreams. They have violent nightmares. Their efforts may be totally thwarted. Things go against their wishes and do not get their wishes met. Even what they wish for in their dreams they do not get. But beholding and bowing to a stubborn image, regardless of the difficulty, simply bow and pay respect to images of Ashta Bodhisattva. Most sincerely, keeping in mind this idea, intent, or wish, can cause all those evils to simply disappear and flow far away within you realize it. Dreams will become entirely peaceful and auspicious. Food and clothes ample. Spirits and ghosts now guardians. They are not short of any clothes or food. Spirits and ghosts protect those who gaze at and pay respects to Ashta Bodhisattva, so that everything goes as they wish, happy and lucky. Sutra. When people need to pass through mountain, forest, cross the seas, or go among evil birds and beasts, even people, evil spirits, evil ghosts, and evil air, and even evil winds, to put themselves in order to difficult situations. They need only gaze in worship and make in getting offerings. Make offerings. So an image of the mighty Ashtar Bodhisattva in response to all the evils in those mountain forests and on those vast seas will simply disappear. Commentary. When people need to or want to pass through mountain forests, cross the sea, and go among evil birds and beasts, evil people, their valleys and their scoundrels and robbers hiding in the mountain forest, venomous dragons, ferocious beasts, tigers, and leopards, as well as a scoundrel, make the path to travel over seas or mountains dangerous. Even spirits, evil ghosts, and even evil winds do not consider all spirits good. There are good spirits and evil spirits. There are also good ghosts and evil ghosts. There are also evil winds. Evil winds are the stirring of monsters and demons, ghosts and goblins, or to put themselves in other difficult situations such as all kinds of catastrophes and miseries. They need only gaze in worship and make dealings to Ashtar Bodhisattva. To a holy image of the mighty Ashtar Bodhisattva in response all the evils in those mountain forests, such as the scoundrels, evil beasts, evil foe, and evil dragons, evil ghosts, and evil spirits on those vast seas will simply disappear. All such will disappear into the thin air. Sutra. Contemplator of souls, listen well to what I say. Ashtar Bodhisattva is an unending wonder. Hundreds of millions of years is time too brief to fully describe the powers of this great being. If people can but hear the name Ashtar, bow to his image, revere and worship him, offer incense, flowers, clothes, food, and drink, such acts will bring them thousands of joys. If they can dedicate such a merit to the Dharma realm, they will become Buddhas, ending birth and death. Contemplator of souls know this well, and tell everyone everywhere in lands as many as the Ganges sends. Commentary. Contemplator of souls, listen well to what I say. Ashtar Bodhisattva is an unending wonder. All of Ashtar Bodhisattva's awesome spirit and vows are inconceivable, unthinkable, and ineffable. Hundreds of millions of years is time too brief. Do not tell me that this is a short period of time. Even if it is as long as billions of years in time, I cannot finish. So fully describe the powers of this great being. To explain in detail the spiritual power of Ashtar Bodhisattva, if people can but hear the name Ashtar, or beyond hearing Ashtar Bodhisattva's name, bow to his image, revere and worship him, offer a wide array of incense, flowers, clothes, food, and drink as offerings for Ashtar Bodhisattva. Such acts will bring them thousands of joys. Offerings to Ashtar Bodhisattva are more supreme than offerings to billions and billions of other bodhisattvas. They will definitely enjoy supremely wonderful bliss in the future if they can dedicate such merit from making offerings to Ashtar Bodhisattva, bow to Ashtar Bodhisattva, or recite Ashtar Bodhisattva's name to all beings of the Dharma realm. They will definitely become Buddhas, ending birth and death. Contemplator of souls know this well, and tell everyone everywhere in lands as many as the Ganges sends. You must go and proclaim the merit and virtue, wonderful uses of spiritual powers of Ashtar Bodhisattva. Notify all beings throughout as many countries as the number of sand grains in the Ganges River. This is what you should do to propagate the vows of a star Bodhisattva. Chapter 13. The Enchantment of People and Gods. Sutra. At that time, the world honored one extended his gold-colored arm and again rubbed the crown of the head of a star Bodhisattva Mahasattva, saying, O star, your spiritual powers, compassion, wisdom, and eloquence are inconceivable. Even if all Buddhas of the 10 directions were to proclaim their praises of your inconceivable deeds, they could not finish in thousands of millions of years. Commentary. This chapter on the enchantment of people and gods is chapter 13 and the final chapter. What is the enchantment? Enchantment means to instruct and burden those in the heavens and human realm with the work of propagating the sutra of the past vows of a star, Amitabha Bodhisattva. Circulate this sutra so that all beings receive the benefits from this practice. At that time, the world-honored one, the Buddha Shakyamuni, extended his golden-colored arm and again rubbed the crown of the head of a star Bodhisattva. He had rubbed a star Bodhisattva's head earlier, but now he rubs the crown of this great Bodhisattva's head again in particular. Rubbing the crown of someone's head is a sign of compassion and care in Buddhism. Saying to him, O star, the awesome powers of your spiritual penetrations are inconceivable and ineffable. He says, O star Bodhisattva, no other Bodhisattva can compare to you in terms of your spiritual powers and strength. This kind of spiritual powers and strength are inconceivable and ineffable. You can be said to be most outstanding and most special. Your supernatural powers are incredible. Your compassion is indeed inconceivable and ineffable. You made vows saying, unless the hells are empty, I will not become a Buddha. I will only realize Bodhi when all beings are saved. Great kindness and great compassion such as this comes from the power of great vows that no other Bodhisattva has made. You, O star Bodhisattva, alone have the power of such greatly kind and greatly compassionate vows. Your wisdom is inconceivable. The Buddha says, O star, very few Bodhisattvas can compare to you in terms of your great wisdom. This kind of great wisdom is also inconceivable and ineffable. Your eloquence is inconceivable. You enjoy the four unobstructed eloquences: eloquence in phrasing, eloquence in meaning, eloquence in delight, in speaking, and eloquence in the Dharma. Your unobstructed eloquence is also inconceivable and ineffable. Even if all Buddhas of the 10 directions were to proclaim their praises of your spiritual powers, compassion, wisdom, and eloquence, of your inconceivable deeds, stories, and achievements, they could not finish in thousands of millions of years. They could not finish in 1,000 or 10,000 gradients because there are so many. Sutra. A star, remember this enchantment that I am again making here in the Trayastrimsha Heaven, in this great assembly of uncountable millions of billions of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, gods, dragons, and the rest of the Eightfold Division. I again entrust to you the gods, people, and others who are still in the burning house and have not yet left the triple world. Do not allow those beings to fall into the evil destinies, even for a single day and night, much less fall into the fivefold relentless hell, or the Ivashi hell, where they would have to pass through thousands of billions of years with no chance of escape. Commentary. O star, remember this enchantment that I am again making here in the Trayastrimsha Heaven. Also, Bodhisattva, you must remember how I, Shakyamuni Buddha, here in the Trayastrimsha Heaven today, in this great assembly of uncountable millions of billions of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, gods, dragons, and the rest of the Eightfold Division, such as Gandharvas, Asuras, Garudas, Kinnaras, Maharagas, humans, non-humans, and other ghosts and spirits of the Eightfold Pantheon. I again entrust to you the gods, people, and others. It is essentially all beings in the human realm and heavens, and all beings who are still in the burning house and have not yet left the triple world, the burning house of the desire realm, form realm, and formless realm. I leave all these beings with you. Do not allow those beings to fall into the evil destinies, even for as long as a single day and night, much less fall into the fivefold realist hell or the Avashi hell, where they would have to pass through thousands of billions of years with no chance of escape. Before they escape, protect all beings and prevent them from falling into the evil destinies. You should know that a day and a night in the heaven of the four kings are 50 years in the human realm. A day and a night in the human realm, 500 years in the house. The reason for that is because there is a lot of joy in the heavens. Time goes by quickly for people who are enjoying themselves. Due to the suffering in the human realm, that period in the human realm is 50 years. Hells are even more miserable than the human realm. When beings suffer, time seems longer. For instance, when we are distressed and melancholy, the day seems extremely long. Conversely, if you were happy, time goes by imperceptibly and the day has gone. This proves the contrast between the human realm and the hells, and that a day and a night in human realm are 500 years in the hells. This is why Shakyamuni Buddha told us Bodhisattva to make sure that beings do not fall into the relentless hells for even one day and one night, because they will feel like they have no chance of escape forever. Sutra. Also, the beings of southern Jambudvipa have irresolute wills and natures. They habitually do many evil deeds. Even if they resolve to do good, they soon renounce that resolve. If they encounter evil conditions, they tend to become increasingly involved in them. For those reasons, I reduplicate thousands of billions of bodies to transform beings, take them across, and liberate them, all in accord with their own fundamental natures. Commentary. Astor. Shakyamuni Buddha called on Astor Bodhisattva again, saying, the beings of southern Jambudvipa of the Saha world, where we have to be patient, have irresolute wills and natures. Their determination and thoughts are unfixed, reaching suddenly for the heavens and suddenly for the earth. Suddenly they develop faith and suddenly they do not. They are always changing with no fixed place. They habitually do many evil deeds. There are always more beings who learn evils. For instance, you ask them to come and listen to the sutra lectures. They are always unwilling. They seem especially afraid of tossing out their evil when they come here and listen to the sutra lectures. What can you do? Undaunted by doing evil, they protect their evil and refuse to change. So, more learn to be evil. People do not need anyone to teach them how to gamble. For example, they go to a casino and they quite naturally know to pull the handle to the slot machine. They pull and know either they win or lose. No one needs to teach them. They are very smart about gambling in Reno or Las Vegas. They understand without a teacher. On the other hand, if you were to teach them good, they do not seem to get it no matter what. They do not even have faith in goodness, hence more learn to be evil. The Buddha knew about our habits long ago. He looks into beings' bones and marrow and knows everything that is there. Even if they resolve to do good, They soon renounce that resolve. After a while, they regret it. I wonder if all of my donations are of any use. Emperor Wu of the Liang Dynasty in China, for example, said, I built so many temples, converted so many monks, donated and made offerings. How much merit do I have? I wonder if I have any merit. He then retreats. Soon, in a very short time, they withdraw from everything. If they encounter evil conditions, which are impure conditions, they lead to one's fall. Any cause that leads to one's fall is considered an evil condition. Some examples of evil conditions include doing something stupid, getting angry, being greedy for money or sex, being hateful and wishing to murder and commit arson, being stupid in wanting what you cannot own. They become increasingly involved in them. Each thought grows and becomes stronger. For those reasons, I manifest thousands of millions of transformation bodies. Shakyamuni Buddha says that beings are so difficult to save. Even if they were to resolve to do good, they retreat very soon. If they encounter evil conditions, they become increasingly involved in them. For these reasons, I, Shakyamuni Buddha, divided my body to take them across and liberate them, all in accord with their own fundamental natures. I will use millions and millions of expedient practices to teach beings based on their faculty and nature to save all beings so that they leave suffering and attain bliss. This section is an iteration of a previous one from the chapter on karmic retributions. And the intention is to again exhort us to emulate the Buddha, to manifest the transformation bodies, to take living beings across and liberate them. Sutra. Although I now earnestly entrust the multitudes of gods and people to you, if in the future among gods and people there are good men or women who plant a few gurus in the Buddha Dharma, be they as little as a strand of hair, a mote of dust, a grain of sand, or a drop of water, then you should use your powers in the way to protect them, so that they gradually cultivate the unsurpassed way and do not get lost or retreat from it. Commentary. Shakyamuni Buddha again says, although I now earnestly entrust, due to my sincere and tremendous expectation to you, the multitudes of gods and people to you, I trust them with you, leave them with you. If in the future is a time that includes me and you now, when Lord Bodhisattva and Shakyamuni Buddha signed this contract, they included you, me, and all beings. If among gods and people there are good men or women, see, this essentially includes you and me. You are a good man or a good woman, and I am a good man or a good woman. We are not evil men or women. An evil man or woman cannot sit still here. One sits down and is ready to run because one seems to have sat on his bed of needles. Because you are a good man or a good woman, you can sit down and not want to leave. The more you listen, the more you enjoy listening. The more you enjoy listening, the more you find it interesting. That is why you do not want to leave. Who plant a few gurus in the Buddha Dharma. See how we have hope. Don't worry, everyone. Now that Shakyamuni Buddha and Lord Bodhisattva have signed this any little bit of gurus in the Buddha Dharma, be they as little as a strand of hair, a mote of dust, a grain of sand, or a drop of water among all the grains and drops of the Ganges River, then you should use your powers in the way. Although they do very little, what is done with good intentions. You must contemplate with your eye of the way, use the strength of your spiritual penetrations supernatural powers, compassion, wisdom, and eloquence to protect them. Guide those who cultivate even these little amounts of good rules so that they gradually cultivate the unsurpassed way. Make them cultivate this unsurpassed way more each day and understand it more each day, and do not get lost or retreat from it. Do not let them renounce their resolve for Bodhi. Some people may wonder, the sutra says that beings that will be supported by Ashta Bodhisattva if they do only so little. But we do so much and have not won the support of Ashta Bodhisattva. I have not seen Ashta Bodhisattva come and support me. You have not seen Ashta Bodhisattva supporting you. You know, if you did not plant that little bit or an abundant amount of good roots, then you may have died in that car crash. You only incurred a slight injury and not death because Ashta Bodhisattva was protecting you. Or how come you became cured all of a sudden? Would you experience this kind of miracle if Ashta Bodhisattva was not protecting you? Someone else says, I have never been in car accidents or experienced any illness, so does that mean Ashta Bodhisattva does not protect me? Do you recall the time when you were on a boat and it nearly capsized? Ashta Bodhisattva was protecting you and prevented the boat from turning over. You just did not know about it. Someone else then says that he has never been in a boat, but you take flights and have not met any crashes. This is also because of Ashta Bodhisattva's protection. For example, some people are afraid when they ride airplanes. Will the airplane fall from such heights? Why are they afraid? It is because of their heavy karmic obstructions from the past. So they are afraid that such karmic obstructions will hurt them and make them plummet. Fortunately, they study the Buddha Dharma, so the plane does not fall from the air. Some say, I am not fearful of anything. You are not afraid? That is courage and protection granted to you by Ashta Bodhisattva. Ashta Bodhisattva is more efficacious in the above situations. Every one of you should believe in Ashta King Bodhisattva because Ashta King Bodhisattva signed a contract with Shakyamuni Buddha while in the Trayastrimsha Heaven. It is a rigorous contract that protects you and me and all beings now because Ashta Bodhisattva is responsible. So have a faith. Sutra. Moreover, Ashta in the future gods or pupil according to the responses of their karmic retributions may be due to fall into the evil destinies. They may be on the brink of falling or may already be at the very gates to those paths. But if they can recite the name of one of Buddha or Bodhisattva or a single sentence or verse of the Great Venerable Sutra, then you should use your spiritual powers to rescue them with expedient means. Display about this body in the places where they are, smash the house and lead them to be born in the heavens, and to experience a supremely wonderful bliss. Commentary. Moreover, Ashta, let me tell you more. Ashta Bodhisattva in the future gods or pupil according to the responses of their karmic retributions. They face their effects. They may be due to fall into the evil destinies. They may be on the brink of falling or may already be at the very gates to those three evil paths. But if they, all beings, can recite the name of one Buddha just once, or Bodhisattva, or a single sentence or verse of the Great Venerable Sutra, then you should use your spiritual powers to rescue them. All these beings with expedient means display about this body, great might and awesome spiritual in the places where they are, smash their house. You shake up your staff and the gate to the doors opens, releasing the hungry ghosts. And thereupon you lead them to be born in the heavens and to experience supremely wonderful bliss. Sutra. At that time, the world honored one spoke in verses saying, I am entrusting to your care, the multitudes of gods and people both now and in the future. Use spiritual powers and expedients to save them. Do not allow them to fall into the evil destinies. Commentary. At that time, the Buddha again spoke in verse. At that time, the world-honored one Shakyamuni spoke in verse saying, I am entrusting to your care the multitudes. With the greatest hope, I now sincerely and earnestly instruct you and leave with you all beings of gods and people both now and in the future. Use spiritual powers and expedients to save them. Use the expedients and powers of your great spiritual penetration to save them all beings. Do not allow them to fall into the evil destinies. Make sure that gods, humans, and all beings do not fall into the evil realms of hell beings, hungry ghosts, animals, and asuras. Sutra. At that time, a star Bodhisattva knelt on one knee, joined his palms together, and said to the Buddha, I beg the world-honored one not to be concerned. In the future, if good men or women have a single thought of respect for Buddha Dharma, I shall use hundreds of thousands of expedients to take them across and free them. They will quickly be liberated from birth and death. How much more will that be the case for those who, having heard about all these good matters and inspired to cultivate, those people will naturally become irreversible from the unsurpassed way. Commentary. At that time, a star Bodhisattva is a great Bodhisattva among the Bodhisattvas. He is the most outstanding among the Bodhisattvas. He is the most replete with great awesome spiritual power, great vows of compassion, great power of wisdom, and great eloquence. Great means inconceivable. He is inconceivable because he is great. This great Bodhisattva now kneels before Shakyamuni Buddha. He knelt on one knee, joined his palms together, and said to the Buddha, with the three karmas of body, mouth, and mind pure, he spoke to the Buddha, saying, I beg the world-honored one not to be concerned. Go ahead and let go of living beings. Leave them with me. I will be responsible for them. I will ensure that all these beings become Buddhas. Rest assured, Buddha, and worry no more for future beings. Commentary. In the future worlds of beings, if good men and women in any place and any country have a single thought of respect demonstrated by an intent, by putting the palms together but once, by lowering their heads just slightly at the sight of a Buddha image, or by bowing for the Buddha Dharma. I shall use hundreds of thousands of expedients to take them across and free them. I will guide them along over time so that they leave suffering and attain bliss. They will quickly be liberated from birth and death, facing suffering no more. Each of us should consider, how did we come into the world? What are we to do? Are we here simply to let time slip through our fingers as we wait for death? We eat and sleep and then eat. Do we wait for death then? Do we learn our living during the day for that couple of meals we take and the clothes we wear? Is it for these things? If it were, then we might as well die soon and be relieved from all that hassle. How is life meaningful that way? it is not particularly meaningful to eat then sleep, sleep then eat, only age then die. Considering life meaningless, some may learn to make a living, make a few dollars by treating people. They figure they came to this life for these petty issues. If our survival were for the insignificant issues of food, clothing, and lodging, then they might as well not go on living. We develop a lot of afflictions and face the development of many problems as we run around for the basic necessities of survival. These problems cause much more misery than delight. We encounter more difficulties than leisure. In this case, we might as well be based. Why did we people come here? We came to the world because awakened once awakened, those who shall be awakened. I will make those who do not understand the principles I understand also. If everyone understand, if everyone understands the principles of cultivation, then we would not have so many afflictions. This is our real obligation, which is to come to the world and contribute to the world and bring virtue to the people. Help everyone, let me help others, rather than wanting others to help me. Some think that I have some energy and get the better end of the bargain when other people help me. This is actually a major loss. Helping others is to do good deeds, which benefits the world and future generations. Shakyamuni Buddha, for example, helped all of us. All patriarchs and great bodhisattvas did the same. We just emulate Shakyamuni Buddha, past patriarchs, and learn and great bodhisattvas if we really want to learn the Buddha Dharma. We do not pay lip service, so the Buddha Dharma do not pay lip service to the Buddha Dharma only, but make sure everyone understands the Buddha Dharma so that they may become liberated soon. This is most critical. How much more will that be the case for those who, having heard about all these good matters, are inspired to cultivate? I hear some people printing sutras. Let me print 5,000 copies. I will take care of them. Or some people are renovating a monastery. Let me go and work for them. Even though I do not have any money, I will contribute that money I have and what skills I have. I will go and do hard labor. For instance, someone offered today that he will definitely build a temple for the Bodhisattvas next year. One individual volunteers, 10 people volunteer, then millions of people will volunteer. The monastery will be built very quickly. This is very beneficial. Cultivating in thought after thought means to never forget cultivation. Instead of thinking about creating karma in thought after thought, cultivate purity in thought after thought. Those people will naturally become irreversible from the unsurpassed way. Quite naturally, they will never renounce the unsurpassed fruition of Bodhi. Sutra. After he finished speaking, a bodhisattva named Empty Space Treasury, who was in the assembly, addressed the Buddha one-on-one. I personally have come to the Trayastrimsha Heaven and have heard the first common praise of the Bodhisattvas of awesome spiritual strength, describing it as inconceivable. If in the future good men, good women, gods and dragons hear this sutra and the name of a star bodhisattva, and if they behold and bow to his image, how many kinds of blessings and benefits will they obtain? Please, one-on-one, say a few words about this for the sake of beings of the present and future. Commentary. After he finished speaking, a Bodhisattva in the great Trayastrimsha assembly named Empty Space Treasury, who was in the assembly. Empty Space Treasury wears a treasury on his head. His wish-fulfilling pearl grants him anything he wants, since it is on his head. This is why he is called Empty Space Treasury. Do you recognize him? That Bodhisattva who wears on his head a precious pearl that makes the wishes come true is the Empty Space Treasury Bodhisattva. His valuables are in empty space, or empty space contains his treasury. I believe that you will never be poor if you know this Bodhisattva. Why? This Bodhisattva will give the valuables in his empty space treasury to you. You will never deplete it throughout lives to come. He addressed the Buddha. World Honored One, I personally have come to the Trayastrimsha Heaven, he said. From my land, I passed 8 zillion lands to arrive here at this Dharma assembly of the Trayastrimsha Heaven. And I have heard the first common praise of Bodhisattva's awesome spiritual strength, the might and power of his awesome virtue and spiritual penetrations, describing it as inconceivable, unthinkable, ineffable, and unheard of. If in the future good men, good women, gods and dragons and others of the Eightfold Pantheon hear this sutra on earth store and the name of earth store Bodhisattva, and if they behold and bow to his image, how many kinds of blessings and benefits will they obtain? How much advantage will they gain? Please, the World Honored One, say a few words about this for the sake of beings of the present and future. Now I only hope you, World Honored One, will describe this briefly for all of us beings in the present and future. Sutra. The Buddha told Empty Space Treasury Bodhisattva, listen attentively, listen attentively. I shall enumerate them and describe them to you. Good men or women in the future may see images of a store Bodhisattva and hear the sutra or read or recite it. They may use incense, flowers, food and drink, clothing and gems to give gifts and make offerings to him. They may praise, behold, and bow to him. Such beings will benefit in 28 ways. Commentary. The Buddha Shakyamuni told the Empty Space Bodhisattva, listen attentively, listen attentively. This means for you to pay special attention. I will tell you now. If you do not pay attention and listen, then I will not speak. What good will it do if I talk and you do not listen? Similarly, as I lecture the sutra for you now, you must also listen attentively. If you keep on sleeping instead of listening, then you do not hear what I say, rendering what I say to be unspoken essentially. My first request, then, is to stop sleeping and being drowsy. I shall enumerate them and describe them to you one at a time. Good men or women, or men and women who do good deeds in the future may see images of a Bodhisattva and hear the sutra or read or recite it. Seeing an image of a star is an expression of sincerity with the eye sense faculty. Hearing the Star Sutra is an expression of sincerity with the ear sense faculty. Reciting is an expression of sincerity with the tongue sense faculty. Offerings of incense and flowers are expressions of sincerity with the nose sense faculty. And food and drink expressions of sincerity with the tongue sense faculty. Clothing and gems are expressions of sincerity with the body sense faculty. To give gifts and make offerings to him, to praise, behold, and bow to him, using eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body are expressions of sincerity with the mind sense faculty. Due to the needs expressed by the six faculties of such beings, they will benefit in 28 ways. What are these 28 different advantages? First, they will be protected by gods and dragons. Second, their gurus will increase daily. Third, they will amass supreme causes pertaining to sagehood. Fourth, they will not retreat from body. Fifth, their clothing and food will be abundant. Sixth, they will never succumb to epidemics. Seventh, they will escape calamities involving fire and water. Eighth, they will never be threatened by thieves. Ninth, they will be respected by all who see them. Tenth, they will be aided by ghosts and spirits. Commentary. First, they will be protected by gods and dragons. Gods, celestial dragons, and celestial asuras will protect you because you know how to recite the Amitabha Sutra. Asuras in the heavens enjoy blessings but no authority. They swear to protect you. Gandharvas are music spirits before the Jade Emperor. They are also called sniffing spirits. Whenever the Jade Emperor lights up a particular incense, Gandharvas come. There are male Gandharvas and female Gandharvas. Male Gandharvas wear a horn similar to chimaras on their heads. Once they get a whiff of his scent, they will dance and sing so the celestial music rings in the heavens. Recite the Amitabha Sutra and Gandharvas will sing praises as they dance on air. Garudas are great palm birds with golden wings. Kinnaras are music spirits too. Maharagas are giant pythons. All of them protect someone who recites the Amitabha Sutra or bow to a Bodhisattva. Second, their gurus will increase daily. Sometimes cultivators are extremely bold as they set their resolve on body, consequently doing a lot of merit. Sometimes they turn around and withdraw. They retreat because they feel that they do not experience any responses despite all the merit they do for Buddhism. Good results increase daily means that they do not retreat. Instead, they grow by the day. They develop blessings and wisdom, do good and virtuous deeds, achieve merit, and always move forward vigorously in Buddhism. Why? It is because you recite a Bodhisattva's name, recite the fundamental vows of a Bodhisattva, for a Bodhisattva Sutra, or pay respects to a Bodhisattva that you experience the response of growing good effects on a daily basis. Third, they will amass supreme causes pertaining to sagehood. This means they do various jobs in Buddhism such as printing sutras and building temples. Repairing bridges and paving roads are about amassing supreme causes pertaining to sagehood too. Making sutras, turning the great Dharma wheel, and doing all these good deeds are about cultivating the path to Bodhi and amassing supreme causes pertaining to sagehood. Fourth, they will not retreat from Bodhi. Sometimes they are vigilant and sometimes we are lax in our cultivation. Vigilant, we are quite bold with everything. Lax, we feel that we are not getting any response from any work we do, so we retreat. Recite the Amitabha Sutra, recite the Amitabha Bodhisattva's name, and bow and make offerings to Amitabha Bodhisattva. We do not renounce our resolve for Bodhi. Our wish for enlightenment moves ahead and grows on a daily basis, never retreat. Fifth, their clothing and food will be abundant. We are not short of clothes or food. People work their entire lives for those 3 meals a day. They work hard out of fear of dying because of starvation or cold. They are always looking for more money. when we did not have any money, we want $10,000. When we get our wish and earn $10,000, we find that lacking. We tell ourselves if we had $100,000, we will retire. But when we make that $100,000, we remember that our kids have to go to school. We do not have enough money. We want to buy a car, so there is not enough money. We want to buy a cruise boat, so there is not enough money still. Thinking even bigger, we may want an airplane. $100,000 does not do any good. We look for money. When we find that $1 million and are ready to buy that plane, the price of the airplane has gone up. We could have purchased it for $990,000 before, but now it is $9,900,000. The price has gone up by 10 times. We cannot afford it once again. We can never catch up because of our greed. We were going to be satisfied and retired as millionaires, but we end up continuing with the pursuit. We are never satisfied and never content. If you recite the Ashtar Bodhisattva's name, recite the Ashtar Sutra, bow and make offerings to Ashtar Bodhisattva, you will always enjoy more than enough clothing and food. When you want to buy an airplane, you will earn more than enough money for 2 airplanes. That is how wonderful this Dharma is. In that case, I will hurry up and recite Ashtar Bodhisattva. Recite Ashtar Bodhisattva in the hopes of buying 2 airplanes is greed. Large amounts of greed will not bring about results. All we can do is try our best while reciting. Do not care so much about whether there will be results. Some say, Master, I feel I am tricked by what you say. Then what? Do not be tricked. Consequently, we must be content and be patient with what comes. Sixth, they will never succumb to epidemics. Recite Ashtar Bodhisattva's name and you will not contract any contagious diseases. Epidemics cannot touch you because there seems to be a border between you and the disease. I remember when I was in northeast China during a plague. A household of 11 had 13 deaths in 3 days. How can a household of 11 have 2 more deaths than the number in the family? In the family, 2 were bearers of gifts. 11 was not a large enough number, so more had to be added. Out of these 2, one was a worker for the family and the other was a distant relative who came to visit. They were additions to the 11 that made the total number of dead 13. When I was there, I took 4 young disciples with me. We are going to go and rescue people. How? I told them, let us recite the Great Compassion Mantra to duel the plague spirit. We went to villages plagued and by this epidemic and circled the place 3 times, reciting the Great Compassion Mantra. When we finished reciting Great Compassion Mantra, the epidemic vanished. So reciting the Great Compassion Mantra is very effective and wonderful. 7th, they will escape calamities involving fire and water. Recite Ashtar's name. There will be no floods or fire, or they will not drown in water and not be burned by fire. They will naturally fall to shallow spots and reach the shore when they fall into the sea. They will naturally be rescued when fire is closing in on them. They will never be threatened by thieves. Why are you robbed and stolen from? It is because you unreasonably took other people's money for your own. You had lied in the past, so you robbed in this life. You have to pay your due. This is the reason why you are robbed and stolen from. All this is a result of cause and effect. There's nothing strange about it. If you really understand this, then you will see the cause and effect in any state and recognize this cyclic law. Ninth, they will be respected by all who see them. Recite Quan Shin Bodhisattva and Ashtar Bodhisattva's names and pay respect to them. People will respect you and feel close to you. They feel as if they see relatives from long ago. They feel so close to you as if they have come home. This is like being doing overseas where you know who are. You know one. When you meet some old friends, you feel awkward. You do not know whether you're happy or sad, whether to smile or cry, or you to laugh or cry. You cry because you see someone dear to you. You laugh because you feel secure now. People respect you at the sight of you. No one criticizes you or mistreats you. Do not say, I know I'm a upasaka, you must respect me, or I am a Dharma master, bow to me when you see me. This is not about forcing others to respect you. The saying goes, musk will naturally smell nice. Why let the wind blow on it? If you were really virtuous, do not act like some medicinal patches salesperson. Oh, my medicinal patch is the best. Arthritis, rheumatism, numbness, just put on this pad and it will cure itself even if you do not put on the patch. Do not sell yourself, fearing that others will not know powerful Buddhist Dharma protector. I am a senior Dharma protector and so temple. Also, I am the board of director of some charity organization. I am also the supporter of some place, etc., etc. One introduces oneself because one is afraid that other people will not know. Stop. That is presence and untrue. It is presence and untrue. Advertise and sell yourself, then blind individuals who will not know and be swindled by you. But people with eyes will see right away, finding your pathetic. 10th, they will be added by ghosts and spirits. They will be aided by ghosts and spirits. If you have a real merit, why publicize it for yourself? Ghosts, spirits, and Dharma protectors will help and support you. They will help you and resolve your difficulties from behind the scenes. No need to publicize the 10th advantage is that all ghosts, good or bad, and all spirits, good and bad, will all help you. Evil spirits will also help you. Is this due to the power of Ashtar Bodhisattva? It is by the power of Ashtar Bodhisattva. All evil ghosts and spirits become Dharma protectors. If I recite Ashtar King Bodhisattva, will he tell people to come and scold me? No. Why? To tell you the truth. You are not up the level yet. You have not even finished studying. How can you pass the test? You pass when you graduate from college. Why test you if you just entered college and have not even graduated? Do not think that scolding is bad. Scolding are tests. If you can take it, you pass. If you pass, keep going toward and going forward and cultivate. Do you cultivate any more after you pass the test? Cultivate even more once you pass. If not, what is the use of passing the test. What is the use of studying to earn a PhD? It's the same idea. If you understand, you understand. If you don't understand, there's nothing I can do. Sutra 11th. Women who want to can be reborn as men. 12th. Women who want to can be reborn as daughters of national leaders and officials. 13th. They will have upright appearances. 14th. They will often be born in the heavens. 15th. They may be emperors or national leaders. 16th, they will have the wisdom to know past lives. 17th, they will obtain whatever they seek. 18th, their families will be happy. 19th, they will never undergo any disasters. 20th, they will leave the bad karmic paths forever. 21st, they will always reach their destination. 22nd, their dreams will be peaceful and happy. 23rd, their deceased relatives will leave suffering behind. 24th, they will enjoy blessings earned in previous lives. 25th, they will be praised by sages. 26th, they will be intelligent and have keen faculties. 27th, they will be magnanimous and empathetic. 28th, they will ultimately realize Buddhahood. Commentary 11th. Women who want to can be reborn as men. The 11th advantage is that if you are tired of being a woman, by paying respects and making offerings, praising and reciting the fundamental vows of Bodhisattva Sutra, or reciting and praising Bodhisattva's name, then you, as a woman, will turn into a man. Perhaps it is not because you are tired of being a woman that you wish to become a man. You feel that it is inconvenient being a woman and therefore wish to become a man. You make that kind of vow because everything will be convenient then. Bodhisattva will make your wishes come true. 12th. Women who want to can be reborn as daughters of national leaders and officials. Any wish to go from a woman to a man will be met. So, will the wish to go from a man to a woman? Men may recite Bodhisattva's name, bow to an image of Bodhisattva, or recite the fundamental vows of Bodhisattva Sutra to become a woman who teaches living beings. Women usually have less of a temper, are more detail-oriented, and speak as if they have affinities with others. This is why some bodhisattvas make the vow to go from being men to women. They go from being men to women to propagate the Buddha Dharma and teach living beings. Consequently, these women are not average women, but daughters to kings and ministers. They enjoy a lot of power to influence people so that people may develop their faith and intention to cultivate. These women have been reborn again because of their vows. 13th, they will have upright appearances. The 13th advantage is not only about being women, but women who are intelligent and wise, nice looking without any flaws. The nose, eyes, ears, and mouth all look the way they should. Someone asks, are there ears that do not look like ears? Are there eyes that do not look like eyes? Some women have triangular eyes or strange-looking eyes that look about as if they are ready to steal some cows. They do not look so elegant. They are rather crude, improper, and less than perfect. The nose is on top of the head, with the nostrils pointed upward. What do you think that is like? Some women have one eye up close to the sky and one eye close to the floor. Ears on the back of her head, and a mouth on the chin. They do not look quite like people, not quite like ghosts, and not quite like monkeys. If they were a product of evolution, how is it that they do not look like anybody else, but they are the only ones who look that way? This is an improper and imperfect look. If you wish to become women, your looks ought to be perfect and proper. If your features were proper looking, people will feel a sense of affinity with you. If your features are improper, people take a look and run away as if they saw a yaksha. 14th, they will often be born in the heavens. The 14th advantage surpasses those described before. They are born in the heavens, often to enjoy heavenly blessings and supremely wonderful bliss. 15th, they may be emperors or national leaders. The 15th is that they may become candidates for emperors by reciting the Hsuan Sutra, bow to Hsuan Sutra, bow to Hsuan Bodhisattva, and recite Hsuan Bodhisattva's name. This is an incredible advantage. Dharma Master, I do not want to go to the heavens and be an emperor or be a good-looking individual. This world is so miserable. I have had enough already. You really had enough? There are the opportunities for realizing Buddhahood. The last enumerated advantage is to realize Buddhahood. 16th, they will have the wisdom to know past lives. They know what they did in their past lives. Perhaps they were political officials, scholars, or business people. They know what their last names, first names were, their place of birth and age of death. Now they are in a new house different from their earlier ones. Those with the power to know past lives know what occurred in their past lives. 17th, they will obtain whatever they seek. The 17th advantage is that you get what you want. You want riches and you get them. You want pupil, you get pupil. You want food, you get food. You want to be rich and you will own an uncountable amount of gold, silver, and jewels. Just avoid following in the footsteps of Reza Shah Pahlavi, the Iranian South, who earned so much money, none of which was enjoyed during his lifetime. He died empty-handed. How meaningless and worthless. Do not be misses. 18th, their families will be happy. The 18th advantage is that their family, relatives, and friends around them are all happy, safe, and at peace. People do not fight or argue. This creates happy families. Sometimes a lot of afflictions develop in the family between husband and wife, father and son, brothers and sisters, or in-laws. The most intimate relationship in our lives has to be that between parent and child. When their opinions diverge, the child may think, look, the old man's brain is arcane, his knowledge is arcane, everything he does is arcane. He has not caught up with modern times and does not know how to deal with the contemporary world. He feels that old people do present a problem. Elders are so concerned about their children that they forgive their children no matter what wrong they do. The children, unfortunately, are ungrateful and consider the elders in the wrong. Why do you not educate your children well? It is because parents do not know how to teach their children. Consequently, children do not know how to take care of their parents. Many problems remain unresolved between parents and their children. As for couples before marriage, both wear a facade and do not argue or fight. After marriage, both display their temper. The man will let the woman know that he is upset, and the woman will let the man know that he is upset. They will give each other stress. With this 18th advantage, your families and friends will always be happy if you get to see an image of Hsuan Bodhisattva or hear the name of Hsuan Bodhisattva. 19th, they will never undergo any disasters. All disasters and accidents adverse and inauspicious events are unexpected disasters. Suicide by hanging, drowning at the sea, airplane crashes, car accidents, suicide by taking poisons are all unexpected deaths. When all accidents disappear, all disasters disappear, there will be no more hurt or harm. 20th, they will leave the bad karmic paths forever. No more offense karma. The three evil destinies are the realms of hell beings, hungry ghosts, and animals. 21st, they will always reach their destination. The 21st advantage is one where they go everywhere unobstructed and very smoothly. Things are auspicious and beneficial for them. 22nd, their dreams will be peaceful and happy. The 22nd advantage, unlike average people's dreams, some always have vicious nightmares. They experience nightmares where they are either chased by ghosts, beaten by dogs, or eaten by tigers. Sometimes they are pressed upon by ghosts and cannot move. They panic. Recite the fundamental vows of Amitabha Sutra and Bodhisattva's name. Your dreams will become happy and lucky. 23rd, their deceased relatives will leave suffering behind. The 23rd advantage is that your parents, ancestors, and relatives since beginning this time, they will leave suffering and attain bliss, become liberated from birth and death. Many deceased individuals fall into their hells because of their karma. However, because you see an image of a Bodhisattva or hear the name of a Bodhisattva, there are 28 advantages that make the deceased leave suffering behind and acquire bliss. The deceased of the present are our deceased parents and relatives in this life. They will leave suffering and attain bliss. The deceased of the past are all of our deceased parents and relatives throughout all of our lives will leave suffering and attain bliss. 24th, they will enjoy blessings earned in previous lives. You write on the good rules and blessings from your past lives. Having done a lot of merit and planted deep roots of goodness, they enjoy such blessings of lives past. Why are we rich in this life? In past lives, we made offerings to the Sangha and offered charity to the poor. In the past, we made offerings to the Triple Jewel, guarded Buddhism, and helped the poor. This is why we are rich in this lifetime. Why are we poor in this life? Perhaps so impoverished that we have no clothing or food. In past lives, we refused to help the poor. In lives past, we refused to aid the poor. We were very stingy and did not want to give up anything if we were not so miserly before, but cultivated blessings and wisdom instead. Then the blessings done in past lives, may be enjoyed in this lifetime. 25th, they will be praised by sages. The 25th is that all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, sages, and arhats praise you and tell you that you're a good man or a good woman. 26th, they will be intelligent and have keen faculties. The 26th advantage is about being very smart and wise, having a powerful memory. The eyes are bright and they see far. The ears hear well. All six sense faculties are keen. 27th, they will be magnanimous and empathetic. The 27th is being full of sympathy and compassion toward everyone, providing every individual with joy and relieving one of one's pain. Regardless of how unkind people are, they treat others kindly and refuse to seek revenge. 28th, they will ultimately realize Buddhahood. What is the 28th advantage? This is the most critical advantage. So irreversibly enter the Bodhi path so that they will definitely become Buddhas in the future. Sutra. Moreover, empty space treasury Bodhisattva, if gods, dragons, or spirits of the present or future hear Ashtar's name, bow to Ashtar's image, or hear of Ashtar's past vows, and the events of his practices, and then praise, behold, and bow to him, they will benefit in 7 ways. Commentary. Moreover, let me tell you again, empty space treasury Bodhisattva, if gods, dragons, or spirits of the present or future hear a star's name, bow to a star's image, or hear of a star's past vows and the events of his practices, such as all the stories of cause and effect in the fundamental vows of a star Bodhisattva Sutra, and then praise, behold, and bow to him, they will benefit in 7 special ways. What are the advantages of bowing to any of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? There is an incomparable benefit to bowing to the Buddhas. Bow before the Buddhas to eliminate offenses as numerous as grains of sand in the Ganges River. Sutra. First, they will quickly ascend to levels of sagehood. Second, their evil karma will dissolve. Third, all Buddhas will protect and be near them. Fourth, they will not retreat from body. Fifth, their inherent powers will increase. Sixth, they will know past lives. Seventh, they will ultimately realize Buddhahood. Commentary. What are these 7 advantages? First, they will quickly ascend to levels of sagehood. What does ascent mean? For instance, going from the first ground to the 3rd ground, skipping the 2nd ground, or going from the 3rd ground to the 5th ground, then from the 5th ground to the 8th ground. They ascend quickly by passing over certain stages. Second, their evil karma will dissolve. Why do people not become Buddhas? They have an impure karma. Evil karma is tainted. The karma you create is impure. Evil karma is dark karma. You do not want people to know about anything you do. Recite the Earth Star Bodhisattva and your evil karma is eliminated. Third, all Buddhas will protect and be near them. All Buddhas throughout the 10 directions come before you to protect you. Fourth, they will not retreat from body. You will never withdraw from your resolve for body, for enlightenment. You grow by the day and make progress each day, only advancing and never retreating. Once the body resolve burgeons, I want to receive the 5 precepts today and leave home tomorrow. The day after, I must become an eminent monk. The day after that, I must become a patriarch. The day after that, I will practice the ways of a bodhisattva. A while later, I will become a Buddha. You must not resign your resolve for body. Avoid making the resolve for receiving the 5 precepts, then reject the idea, thinking it would be embarrassing to receive the precepts, then violate them. I could not stand it if most people know I violated the precepts. Or they hear that monastic life is bitter, so they can reconsider and decide not to become a monastic. Very few can remain steadfast toward the goal of Bodhi. Fifth, their inherent powers will increase. Inherent power refers to the strength of our inherent Buddha nature. Living beings have the opportunity and power to become Buddhas. What people do is to cover over their inherent Buddha nature and allow afflictions and ignorance to develop. Now that you shattered ignorance and broke with afflictions, then your inherent power manifests and increases. Sixth, they will know past lives. They know what they did in their last life and what they did the life before that. They know about their lives as far back as 80,000 great years. Those who certify to Arhatship know their past lives, but they do not know anything beyond 80,000 great years. Once someone has the ability to know past lives, they know, for example, I was an ant in one life. That was a tiny body. Now I am huge as a human being. Perhaps we go from ants to bees, bees to butterflies, butterflies to birds, birds to eagles. We were vegetarian eagles, so we built blessings and planted causes for Buddhahood. Hence, We became humans who will become Buddhas in the future. With the ability to know past lives, you know when you were an ant, what kind of insect or animal you were. This body of ours will change. Perhaps what follows are numerous transformations. Seventh, they will ultimately realize Buddhahood. They will become Buddhas eventually. This is the same as the 28th in the earlier list. Sutra. At that time, all the indescribably innumerable numbers of Buddhas, thus come ones who had come from the 10 directions, and great Bodhisattvas, gods, dragons, and the rest of the Eightfold Division, having heard Shakyamuni Buddha's praise of Ashtar Bodhisattva's great awesome spiritual powers, lauded this unprecedented event. Commentary. At that time, all the indescribably ineffable numbers of Buddhas, thus come ones who had come from the 10 directions, and the unimaginable and unspeakable number of great Bodhisattvas, South-hearers, those enlightened to conditions, practical Buddhas, gods, people, ghosts, spirits, dragons, and the rest of the Eightfold Division, having heard Shakyamuni Buddha's praise of Ashtar Bodhisattva's great awesome spiritual powers and incredible blessings, incomparable by any other Bodhisattvas, lauded this unprecedented event. Everyone is told at how there has never been such a supreme and rare Bodhisattva. Sutra. Following that, incense, flowers, heavenly garments, and pearl necklaces rain down in the Trayastrimsha Heaven as offerings to Shakyamuni Buddha and Ashtar Bodhisattva, and everyone in the assembly joined together in gazing at and making obeisance to the Buddha and Bodhisattva. Then they put their palms together and withdrew. Commentary. Following that, an array of incense scented flowers such as mandaravas, little white flowers, and mahamandaravas, large white flowers, heavenly garments lighter than nylon, and pearl necklaces rain down in the Trayastrimsha Heaven, the heaven of 33, as offerings to Shakyamuni Buddha and Ashtar Bodhisattva. The most valuable and rare gems were offered to Shakyamuni Buddha, who was the greatest, and then to Ashtar Bodhisattva. After the offerings, everyone in the assembly who had gathered, such as Bodhisattvas, arhats, gods, ghosts, and spirits, joined together in gazing at and making obeisance to the Buddha and Bodhisattva. Then they put their palms together and respectfully withdrew to the side.